Yes, we're my Premier League legends!
And he's already had a wee spillage, wasn't he? Pepsi all in him.
I know. Don't look, just keep the top half up, the bottom half's not good.
Come all the way down the train. Let's see the trousers. Come on, show you.
Look at that, look. Come all the way down the train, had a napkin on there, everything's covered, clean. Can't turn up dirty this. 2 seconds before we get on, I'm wearing a Coca-Cola. So you get the Coca-Cola in there.
It's because of that thing.
The finger's not in good shape, is it?
Is that for, what
was that for?
Watch this, look, when you do this, you're trying to...
Oh my God, man!
Oh!
The good thing is if you're in an argument or a fight, you go, don't you ever fucking speak to me like that. And you two are like that. Who's he pointing at? Is he pointing at me or is he pointing at you?
That wasn't even done goalkeeper down in the bedroom, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Don't get me started.
Whose arse has that been? But not just saying this, I told you off camera, when I was a wee guy I used to go in goals. I used to be Shea Given, wee guy in Dundee. Mate, what a keeper.
Dundee, is that where you're from?
From Dundee,
Do you like Dundee?
I hated Newcastle as well, mate, but I just always quite like...
City of Discovery, Dundee, you know?
That's it, mate.
Tell you what, it's famous, isn't it?
I think it was always because he was so
Charlie Adams
cute.
from there, wasn't he?
Charlie Adams, because he was so cute, wasn't he?
Oh, I just remember playing at Dundee, actually, the reserves at Celtic.
Oh, did you go up to
Stadium's
Dundee?
literally a car park apart, isn't he, from Dundee United, Tannadice and...
Aye, right beside each other, aye.
My mad does things in that car park, I don't know if you've...
Does she?
Hangs about, doesn't she?
Is it? Is this for over 18s, this?
Is it? But mate, Premier League legend, man.
Oh, mate, I think, without a doubt, the biggest we've had on.
I always say this, I've told you this, I tell my wee boy, if you're ever a goalkeeper, I'm never coming to watch you play.
Why?
Oh, I just done a... It's a straight...
Somebody's got to be in goal. Somebody's got to be in goal, hasn't he?
So that's the question, that's my first question. Did you straight away as a kid go, I want to be a...
No,
you were shy at field.
No. Calm down. Let me speak. No. In the garden, I've got 4 brothers who used to be like batter balls at me, stuff, and used to be flying. My dad was a goalkeeper, but then I was outfield as well. From my school, I was top goal scorer from my school. And I got to about 14, my dad goes, you have to concentrate on being a goalkeeper or a striker. And he said, I think you've got a better chance as a goalkeeper. He was a goalkeeper, so he'd give me like tips and stuff and used to go watch him play.
So that late on, 14?
Yeah, 14, 15, yeah. So at school, like if we needed a goal, they put me out of the field, and if we wanted like to sew it up or keep a clean sheet, they put me in goal.
Were you just playing like with a local boys club team?
Just a local Lifford Celtic team, junior team, and then my school team, St Columbus College, so we played both of them, yeah.
And then what age were you then when teams started to recognise you outside Ireland?
About 15 when we went on this mad run with the FAI Junior Cup with Lifford Celtic. So I played in the men's team at 15, and then we got to the semi-finals. There were like nearly 400 clubs in Ireland. We got to the semi-final. We're only a small village town, like, you know, so then some scouts coming to watch and went from there.
You see that we were playing, do you think that's helped you, your career that you played with men such a...
Probably did, yeah, definitely helped, because a lot of kids now go through the academies and they play underage stuff, and then they play 19s and they play 23s, and there's no real pressure. There's certain pressure, but there's no pressure of points and stuff. I went out in Loam when I was 18 and stuff, to Swindon and different places, so...
Did you go to Swindon,
Yeah.
I see seen your picture in the tunnel,
My first club was Swindon as a loanee player, but it was important that I went out and got that experience and what it meant to, I don't know, like the tea ladies and the kit men and all, they had the livelihoods at stake, not underage football, whereas we're going again next week. Like, they meant a lot to it. And Steve McMahon was the manager, he was a player manager at the time. So.
Steve McMahon, who's like a Liverpool legend, what was he like as a young kid?
Yeah, he was solid even then, but he showed great faith. I was only 18, he showed great faith, he put me in goals.
More importantly, where did you go for a night out in Swindon, the spot?
Swindon? Did you know Swindon?
He played there for 4 years.
Oh, see, I was only there for 4 weeks.
That level
he's played
I think I just stayed in the hotel. Do you remember Peter Thorne? Remember him?
Nah.
Thorny, no?
Nah.
He was top goal scorer for Swindon. You didn't do your history in Swindon, did you?
I didn't care.
Not interested, mate. Right, Celtic came in for you when you were young.
Yeah.
So you're obviously a Celtic fan growing up?
Yeah, a massive Celtic fan. I mean, from Donegal, obviously Packy Bonner, and there's massive Celtic supporter clubs in Donegal and stuff, so...
Did you ever go over to Celtic Park as a kid?
Not as a kid, no.
Right, so you weren't that big a fan then?
Well, because we had no money, probably more than anything else. They just want me to swim across the sea, but... no, I mean, it actually came, there's loads of clubs in England, and Celtic was one of the clubs, and then it basically came down to 2 clubs, and then it was Man United or Glasgow Celtic, and I think Schmeichel had just joined a year or 2 before, Peter Schmeichel that is, and, my dad was in the best opportunity, because I think Packy Bonner was 33, 34, maybe 35 even, so it was like, best chance of getting in the first team as quick as possible was to go to Celtic, and obviously the connections with Ireland. Lane Brady was the manager, so it was a big opportunity to go there, yeah.
Is that who spoke to you? Lane Brady?
Yeah. What happened, they had a pre-season trip in Dublin, actually. The first team this was, so I went up to Dublin to train with them. They had a look at me and stuff, and I was actually staying in the hotel with all the first team players.
What first team players were there at the time?
Well, I can't remember John Collins, Charlie Nicholas, obviously Packy Bonner,
John Collins
Gordon Marshall. He was, he was ripped.
Yes, isn't he?
I think he's still ripped. I think
he is ripped.
He eats lettuce for a full Sunday roast. That's it, man. He's ripped, honestly. I couldn't believe it.
Did you go and train with the first team?
Yeah, I
up in
trained with the
Dublin?
first team in Dublin. Like,
Wow,
you know,
that's
so it was
amazing
mad.
for a
And
young kid, isn't it?
I stayed like in the same quarter with the first team and all the shenanigans, tricks, playing tricks and stuff. But it was just an eye opener for me, and they gave me like training kit to take home, and it was obviously they wanted me to sign, so they gave me all the gear and stuff, you know. But yeah, I was delighted to go to Glasgow. Yeah.
And then you moved over to Glasgow.
Yeah, at 16 I went to Glasgow. Yeah, so.
So did you sign a contract?
Yeah, signed a 2-year contract.
2-year contract,
yeah,
right?
An apprentice at Celtic. So, I was trying to tell my son to get like the bus the other day to school. He has to walk down the road, like, and he slept in. Had to get him a bloody taxi because I had. Anyway, long story. But I was at Celtic. I stayed in Dennis to start. Where you talk about Dennis, but I moved out to Bishop Briggs. I had to get 2 buses to get a bus on the Hope Street and then wait for another bus out to Parkhead, like, you know. But
What was that in Digshea? So were you with a family?
yeah, so it was a family out in Bishop Briggs. Yeah, so.
Was it you and another boy or just you
Me
your
and
own?
Nigel Melly, actually, a guy from Derry, so it was good to be with him because he was a little bit similar boat as me. He's a wee bit older, but he was a little bit homesick and missing the people back at home and stuff, you know, so it was good for helping me settle in, definitely.
But with the Denison one, that's the top 10 best places now to stay in Europe.
That is, mate, you're right.
Was that the same in
You
Europe?
need to check your paperwork there.
Your paperwork.
Who said that? What?
How was that?
Can you Google that at home? Because I'm not sure about that, right?
Was it wild?
Dennis is the first place I went to, lads, and it was carnage. It was
So why did you need to move it?
just random, just one bloke looking after 8 lads in there, and it was like, food was horrendous. The looking out the window was just like scary, like at night time and stuff, honest to God.
That was his dad you were looking at.
That
the
he
street.
gets a bit there.
Does he?
Aye.
I know, because it's the best. Whatever
No,
said.
he was the one back in the
back
day.
then,
Yeah,
yeah.
the time.
Yeah, it's not a good place, but
Did we just get it? Would you just go out in Glasgow quite a bit?
not when I was younger. I think the first time was the first year, so not really when I went home or whatever. But I think it was about 17 and a half when I sort of first went out, and I got a few beers into me. First place was Bonkers. You ever been to Bonkers?
Bonkers,
in
man,
Hull Street?
that.
I went Bonkers that night, man. I had 4 pints of snake bite, and I thought I was John Travolta in the dance floor, man. Didn't know what was happening. Anyways, the bog spewing up then about 20 minutes later. But that's my first experience of alcohol.
Was there any of the young kids at that same when you were there at first that went on to make it?
Simon Donnelly was there, and Stuart Kerr, he was the goalkeeper.
Oh, the
I don't
goalie,
remember, just a year above us or whatever. Who else would have been there? I'm trying to think. The other lads went to different clubs perhaps, but not at Celtic maybe, you know.
Yeah.
But see, how hard is it for you as a young kid to leave Ireland and come here at such a young age?
Well, it was really difficult the first year especially. I wanted to be home, my family, obviously my friends. And it's kind of the bigger picture at 16, you don't really see it. You just want to be with your mates.
So what made you
Just
stay?
family and stuff, and just say stick it in.
Yeah.
You know, it's a chance of a lifetime, and you might never get this chance again. And where I'm from in Donegal, I don't know if you know it, but it's in the middle of nowhere in the northwest of Ireland, like, you know, so it's done well even somebody seeing me up there, you know, so it's like a real opportunity that I couldn't throw away, you know.
Were you training with the first team when you were that young?
So yeah, at 15, 16 I went over, then we were it was mad in the days because every club now's got a goalkeeping coach or whatever, but we had Joe Corrigan, if you remember Joe Corrigan, played for Man City, and he used to come on a Thursday and train all the keepers, like, so train me Gordon Marshall, Packy, myself, Stuart Kerr. Yeah, we'd all train together, so that was pretty cool.
And what about outfield players? Would that be like Frank McAvenny, John Collins, Paul McStay?
Yeah, Charlie Nicholas, all them, Paul McStay.
Were you tight with any of them?
See, they were all a lot older than me, you know, but I looked up to them, like, obviously you respected them and stuff, and remember as an apprentice back then, you had to clean the boots and pick up all the kit and sweep. There'd be times we'd be sweeping the pitch and sweeping the stands at Parkhead, and they don't do anything now, the apprentices, like, you know, but I think it was a good grounding for us, and I think, you know, it's a shame they took that away, you know, with all the different laws and stuff, but it was usually clean, I think, package boots and somebody else's, and they would sort of give you a bit of,
quid?
well, very few quid, not that much, but they give you a bit of grief if they weren't clean and stuff. I think it was a bit of like, I suppose, grounding for you and try and keep you on your feet on the ground type stuff, you know.
When you started getting more involved with the first team, was that Lou McCarry the manager then?
Well, I didn't. Basically, I was on the bench a few times, but it was more for injuries and stuff,
Right.
and more like the people were missing, and they called me up because I was on the bench once for an Old Firm game at 17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was shitting myself.
Celtic Park or Ibrox? Sorry, mate.
I was at Celtic Park.
That's the exact same question.
Celtic Park, yeah, but it was mad because it was Christmas, New Year time, and I was back in Ireland. I got the call. I think Gordon Marshall got injured or something, and don't know, Stuart Kerr, don't know where he must have been injured as well, whatever. So they said, you need to come over, like, but come back over again. So I was a bit gutted to leave the family, but at the same time thinking, oh, you're going to be on the bench, like, so at an Old Firm game. So I was like sitting there looking around thinking, wowzer, this is unreal. Like,
And was there any time in the game where it looked like you could be going on, or nah?
Well, every time they throws the balls in the box, you know, you're thinking this could be the moment, I suppose, you know, but ended up losing the game. So I was, I think Mark Edley might have got a hat-trick or something.
Did your family come over?
They didn't know. No, they didn't come over. No, they were just all like, I think back then, there obviously was no social media. There was wasn't much on the TV. It was probably more radio than anything, listening to it on the radio and stuff than TVs. That's how old I am, lads. So you're only young pups used to.
No, you're looking great, though, eh?
Huh?
You're looking great, mate.
Just Remain's working good.
You coming in London with us tonight?
What time are you at?
This man's got a few things lined up.
Is he?
Uh-huh.
Tommy Coyne lookalike. What?
Is it? Tommy Coyne. Was Tommy Coyne in Celtic when you were
He
there?
was there when I was there, yeah.
What was it like, that guy?
I'm going to take a second take when I come through the door. There's that, hi, Tommy. What?
See, on that
guy.
first team squad, who was good with it? Was there any ones that
Nah,
in
they were all
particular
good.
that-
They were all good. I remember once Charlie Nichols were doing sit-ups and stuff in the gym, and I was only young and stuff, and I wasn't breathing. My head was like a beetroot.
What, you were doing sit-ups as well?
Yeah, no, we're all doing it together, like as a
Right.
group. Like he's looking over my head was like a beetroot. He goes, "Fucking hell, lad! You can breathe if you want, I didn't know what I was doing, like."
Remember that with the first
The
team?
worst feeling ever.
Yeah, trying to impress, like. My head.
But see, with that time, was it hard at the club? Because if my memory serves me right, was a lot of financial
Yeah,
trouble
the
going on
club
at
was in a
time?
mess, if I'm being honest. It was, like, the average gate was probably 17, 18,000, like, and the stadium wasn't developed. Like, the jungle was the old jungle and all that stuff, so.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Fergus McCann came in and took it over, and I was left after, the stadium was built and all that kind of stuff, but.
Who was your youth team coach and reserve coach?
Yeah, good question now, lad.
No, he's at the big
should
time,
know,
he's forgot
should know.
about his
Tommy
other
Craig
guys,
was
isn't he?
there. Tommy Craig
Oh,
was
Tommy
there.
Craig, right.
Mad one, Frank.
Oh, Frank Connor.
Aye, he's off his head,
He's
isn't
off his nut.
he? Yeah.
Did he go mad at you?
Yeah, a few times.
'Cause he was a goalie, wasn't he?
He was a goalie, aye. But
Ah.
he used to speak, he'd be like shitting yourself every time he spoke, like the angriest voice ever, hadn't he?
Mate, see if we ever he was away from the club, but I was a young boy at Celtic. See if he never needed a rocket, Tommy would bring Frank Connor in and he would just like annihilate you.
What was it? Was he working at Celtic?
Nah, but he was Tommy's mate. Tommy Burns would just bring him in and he would like talk to you about what it means to play for Celtic, but he was proper.
Yeah, Ashley Grimes was there as well as a coach, I remember him.
Right. Was it good coaching?
Yeah, I mean, the coaching's changed a lot, I think, since I played. Like, we were obviously told to keep the ball in the net and take it as far up the pitch away from your goal as possible. The game's moved on so much since then, but it was still amazing. Like, I was training full time. I didn't train at home at all. First full time training was when I went to Celtic, basically. So,
Yeah.
big difference, big change.
Mate, I can't believe this. I found this out the day. Was Brad Friedel in trial at Celtic? Was he there when you were
Yeah,
there?
yeah. There was a picture actually of us all.
Mate, I've that pictures of him used to be in Barrowfield because I was going to say,
Oh,
see
was
when
it?
we were young kids, like people used to say we let go Shea Given and Brad Friedel, no let go, but we
Yeah.
had Shea Given and Brad Friedel.
Yeah.
So did you leave about that
Well, my
time?
contract was up, a 2-year contract, I signed, I said before, and then Louis McCarry offered, there was 4 or 5, maybe 6 of us he wanted to keep on, and he offered us all the same contract. And my dad says, "You're not signing that."
Why not?
Because it was
Not enough money?
horrendous. Yeah. So I was like going from an apprentice to a pro, it was like something like 20, 30 quid a week more to sign pro. So you get more play in the League of Ireland, basically, and I did think like that, I had sort of faith in my own ability that if I don't be at Celtic, it'll be somewhere else, albeit I wanted to stay at Celtic, but they said, "Well, take that or leave it." My dad goes, "Oh, we're leaving then." That was as like black and white as you can get, but he was right at the time. Like, it was just, there was no like come back to it, that was
Yeah.
it, So,
Celtic fans must be sick thinking they lost it. So they gave you like 100 quid more, you'd have signed it probably.
well, probably at that age, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like 100 quid a week as an apprentice, and they offered me 130 quid or something, or 150 quid. I had to pay half my digs or something. It was just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was-
Paddy Bonner was retiring that year as well. See,
So does that not a wee thing you thought, oh, I might hang on if he's retiring?
yeah, it was more just my dad was just, he was quite angry with it, really, to be honest. Then like we thought like, oh, that's their opening, like you'd say in any negotiation, that's their opening thing, or they'll come back and offer you more. I was like, "No, take it or leave it." It's like, "All right then, that's a wrap."
was Paddy Bonner good with you, obviously, being Irish
Yeah,
as well,
Packy was
being
brilliant.
from Donegal.
Brilliant, obviously, to advise me and stuff, and he could have been more generous with his old gloves, like, because he used to look at his gloves thinking, give us a pair of them, Packy, which
he
he's
never
like,
give you?
never really give me that money. It's
Mate,
like,
Annie never gave you any
looking
dough.
at-
He's the tightest man in the world, didn't he? Annie never gave you a tip for
I
cleaning his
gave us a
boots.
few quid, to be fair, but I was more interested in the gloves, because I wanted to, I took a pair one day, I said, "Packy, you going to use these gloves?" "Sure, them gloves are ruined." I was like, "Oh, they'll be good for me for training." Trying to get the hint in, like, he didn't take it on.
That's the worst, isn't it? And Terry Genoa was there as well. Terry's a legend, mate. What a guy. eh?
Terry, so the end of that contract, it was actually Terry who scouted me. We had a tournament in Holland, and Terry was a Blackburn at the time, so Terry scouted me for Kenny Dalglish.
Oh, so it was him.
So he went to Holland to watch me play for Celtic and an underage team.
Right, and then
that was the
Terry
end of my
ended up at
contract.
Celtic and you took you to Blackburn.
Yeah, no, but Terry was at Blackburn for 3 years with me first.
Right.
Later, Terry went to Celtic.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So
Oh, man, I'm gutted with that, man. Can't believe we had the two
Shea Given on the books.
But then, Kenny Dalglish, did he bring to Blackburn?
he brought me to Blackburn. As I say, Kenny sent Terry out to Holland to watch me, and then signed us at Blackburn, 3-year contract at Blackburn.
So who speaks to you? Is it Kerry Dalglish that phones you up direct? No.
It was someone, a colleague, a friend of my dad's in Dublin who has a connection with Kenny. He called my dad and says, Kenny wants to speak to you, blah, blah, blah. And then he spoke to my dad, so, yeah.
Big, innit? But I can't imagine Premier League managers now phoning like 16, 17-year-old kids' dads.
No.
To
It'd
come
be
and get them to
agents
sign.
not now though, innit?
Yeah, it'd be all be through agents. Was your dad buzzing that a guy like Kenny Dalglish was phoning him?
He was just, well, maybe he was buzzing, but he didn't let on. He just goes, Kenny was on the phone. I was like, Kenny, you can't. I was like, fucking hell. Are you all right?
No, I'd be stuck on that on the phone.
Wouldn't you?
Where did your dad work as? I'm quite fascinated.
He was a horticulturist, which is quite a big word for, what time was it on a fucking 6 o'clock on a Wednesday? But just basically as a potato inspector.
Right.
I was trying to give it a bit of a lift up there. But we worked like as kids, we were like market gardening, we had a driving range, pitching put, we had lots of different stuff. But his job was a horticulturist.
And he just
Don't ask me to spell
fucking
that.
Kenny Dalglish off at Kenny.
Kenny was on the phone, yeah.
Oh mate, you'd be honestly stuttering all over the place, wouldn't you?
But other dads would be so like starstruck in that. Like, was your dad a massive influence throughout your whole career?
Yeah, he was, yeah. I mean, he's probably like a lot of dads, you'd probably say they would always, not always, but they would always go, what were you doing if you made a mistake or something? It'd be more, rather than give you too much praise, like, you know.
Yeah.
So you're always trying to impress him, I suppose, and I suppose that's maybe his way of sort of psychologically trying to get the best out of you, you know what I mean?
So do you think dads are now too nice on their sons?
I think it's a balance, mate.
I think the kids have changed as well. Like, as I said to you before, my kid getting the bus to school is like, he slept in and goes, can I get a taxi? He's like, if that was me, my dad would have me in a headlock, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like, you got to speak to them different. It's just the way that generations change, don't they? But it's frustrating at times, especially as a parent. Like, you just want to go, just get up and go on the bus, like, you know.
Is your kid a goalie?
He's played a little bit for Macclesfield, just his Macclesfield junior team, like, you know. But he's not that dedicated, you know that way. So
we're all the same, aren't they?
Wasted, aren't he?
See, back to Blackburn, seeing that dressing room, there's a lot of fiery personalities in there. Was that quite intimidating to go into?
It's mad because I left Celtic, as I said, and the first year I was there, we won the league, won the Premier League. I mean, I was only on the bench a few times, I didn't play, like, but...
Still a few quid, don't I?
But I was like, this is easy, this Premier League, you know, because first year here, we won the league, it's like, Blackburn won the league every year. Do you know what I mean? It's like, just whatever way I timed it, they won the league that year, you know, but yeah, some big characters, as you can imagine, like, obviously, I don't know, likes of Mike Newell, who, don't know if you know, Colin Hendry, Shearer, obviously Sutton, McKinley, Tim Sherwood was the captain. So there are a lot, you know, you look at, I don't know, they like to say of Arsenal and they say there's no leaders. If you look back at that team, it was a team of leaders, like, you know, they were all leaders in their own right, you know. So Tim Flowers, the goalkeeper, brilliant at the time, playing for England. Absolutely brilliant.
Did you need to be strong mentally back then to come through a changing room like that?
I didn't really know any different, if I'm being honest. I was just like going with the flow, like, and
Were
trying
you training with the first team every day at Blackburn, yeah?
Most days, yeah. Most days. We train with the kids as well, the underage teams as well, but the good thing for me was to train with Tim Flowers. Like, he was a really good example for me. Like, he was a top trainer, like, and he was first out and last on the pitch, and like really worked hard. It showed me, like, if he does that, then that's what I need to do to be the best, you know. Did he
not always smell really nice?
Why?
Flowers. that is top, like. What about Sutton when eating all the
Can we edit this show? It's going live, is it?
What about Sutton? How was Sutton?
Yeah, Sutton was good. Him and Billy McKinley were like, I don't know, thick as thieves. Like, they're always up to no good, like, you know. So, but no, his big personality, dry sense of humour, but he is behind all that. He likes the crack as well. You know?
No, he doesn't.
I don't mean the crack as in, you know, but I mean so we're straight, like, you know what I mean?
Right, about it now. What was Shearer like, hero?
Yeah.
Imagine being a goalie trying to save Shearer's.
I mean, that's another good thing for me. Like, so you're coming up the likes of Shearer and training every day and stuff. So you're only going to get better. Like, you're not going to save all of them. Like, but they give you that confidence if you can obviously save shots against probably one of the best strikers in the world, and he gives you that belief that you must be doing something right.
Is he shooting ridiculous?
Yeah, very powerful. Like, it's mad when you go see forwards going through now and finesse and stuff and just passing in the corner and stuff. He goes through like 1-on-1. He's taking in the head off the keeper and everything, like, you know. And if he busts your nose, he'd be like laughing and stuff, like.
Oh, is he?
Be claret, yeah, there's claret. I want to see claret in that. Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah.
So you were learning so much, obviously, for Tim Flowers and that. But did you feel now it was your time you wanted to play first?
Well, talk about Swindon. I went to Swindon at 18 on loan. And that was the same year they won the league, so I was desperate to play football, basically, to get out there. And I went there, Steve McMahon was the manager, and he was player manager, you know, so there's a men's team again, and points made a big difference rather than underage football. And so I went there for a month, and they wanted me to stay longer, but then Tim Flowers got sent off, so I had to go back to Blackburn to be on the bench. Bobby Mims played, and I was on the bench, and I wanted to stay longer, but they had no other keeper, so they had to cut it short, like, you know. Mm-hmm. But it was a good experience.
See, with the players, do you ever remember them absolutely like lambasting you, like getting on you proper if you made a mistake? Do you remember anyone
Well, Blackburn, I made my debut, Premier League debut at 19 in Blackburn, and of all places, I made it at Selhurst Park against the Crazy Gang, as in Wimbledon.
And were they just firing crosses on
well,
you?
before I even got on the pitch, the walls were vibrating with the stereo, the speaker. They must have had like the bass up full boot, and in the tunnel at Selhurst Park, I know you've been there, like, but you can hardly like get past it. Like it's like nearly 1-1, like, and then Fashanu and Vinnie Jones and all these, and they were shouting, get into this like effing and blind and get into this young keeper, he's shitting himself and all this stuff, like, you know.
Mate, I would have crumbled.
And then like Tim Sherwood, he was like obviously experienced, but he was laughing and said, I don't mind them, we're just trying to wind you up and all and stuff.
How were you? Were you alright?
I played well, actually. We lost 1-0, but it wasn't my fault for the goal or anything. But
that's when you know you're going to have a successful career. When you came out of that tunnel and you're still
yeah,
fine.
I came for some crosses and stuff, and you imagine, as you said, they put the balls on top of you, they said, we'll test them and we'll put them under pressure, basically, you know. But I stood up, did well, eh?
Were you a confidence type player, or no? You always seem to be pretty confident.
I was and I wasn't. I think probably my worst critic is myself, and you know that can boil over. Yeah. So
too much.
I think it was about 2014. I moved to Newcastle after Blackburn. I think I went and got a psychologist, actually a sports psychologist. Yeah, to try and help me, because I was one game I actually played Blackburn away, and I dropped a cross in the first 10 minutes, and the guy shot and Nikos Dabizos in line, saved up his hand, sent off. So we're down to 10 men, 80 minutes away from home. We lost 5-0 or something. Like my head was scrambled, like, you know. So I went and got some help after that, and thankfully, you know, I had ways of dealing with mistakes, because mistakes are part of the game. Yeah. And especially as a goalkeeper, you have to stay focused and try and think of the next sort of participation you're going to have in the game, really.
Was that your first big mistake? Can you remember your first big mistake?
I made a lot of mistakes.
No, you've not.
No, probably the most famous mistake was the day on Dublin one. I don't remember that now.
Oh, was that you put the ball into
goal kick? So there was a joke after, but the thing is, no one ever tells the full story about it, because it was just the start of the 6-second rule. And you know, at the start of any rule, the referees are on it, like, you know what I mean? So I've come for this high cross and I've caught it. I think Day in Dublin was challenging. I didn't know anybody was challenging me. I was just in the zone. I was up that high. I didn't know who. Fucking Superman could have been challenging me. He wasn't getting the ball right. Yeah. So I've caught it. And then I'd look up the field, and obviously Alan Shearer wasn't moving. He never moves that much, like, unless you hit him. Like, so I was like, fucking, I'll give us something, like. And then, like, I knew the ref was on me because he was giving it this, so I had the option either to kick it or to roll it out, like, he sort of.
So you get longer, yeah.
Yeah, so when I took the high cross, Day in Dublin was challenging, but he, like, sort of, the momentum took him off the pitch and sort of sat an advertising board. And he sneaked up behind me when I put it down and scored, like. And then the joke after was only Irishman not to know where Dublin is. It's fucking me, obviously.
Did the manager slaughter you for it?
Oh, Kenny Dalglish, the manager.
What did he say?
Me. Well, he was. I think he was at half time. He was a bit. He was kind of a bit diplomatic. Forget about it, whatever. But after the game, he gave me a bit, like, you know, didn't go mental on it. Kenny was good that way. He protected his players, like, you know. But I remember Rob Lee scoring a late equaliser. It was 2-2. The game finished, you know. And he was like, "I got you out of this shit today, didn't I?"
See, when Newcastle.
About time.
See, when Newcastle came in for you, was it Kenny Dalglish the manager again? Was it?
Loves you, didn't he, Kenny Dalglish?
Kenny Dalglish, yeah. King
They phone
Kenny.
your dad again?
That's on fire, wasn't he? I think at the time, again, my contract was run up at Blackburn, so I was at Sunderland after. The couple of years after, I went to Sunderland for 3 months.
Under Peter Reid?
Yeah, Peter Reid took me up there. Yeah, it was good.
Go as well, so
they won the championship when we were there. We won the championship, and they wanted to sign me, blah, blah, blah. But Blackburn wanted me back then as number 2 the following year, but I had a year left, so I went back to Blackburn. Someone wanted to sign me, and they wouldn't sell me. Blackburn said they wanted to stay, offered you a new contract and all this, but Tim Flowers was still really, you know, in his prime. And again, going back to the Celtic thing when I was 16, I wanted to get the team where I'd get in the first team as quick as I could, so I didn't see that as an opening.
Yeah.
So I just seen my contract out at Blackburn as well, a bit like Celtic. But then I went to Newcastle, and it was a tribunal at the time because it was only 21. This guy knows what he's doing,
didn't he? Mm-hmm.
That was more. It wasn't even a financial thing. It was more just a football thing to get playing. Like, and then Newcastle just finished second the year before, and then Kenny obviously says, "We want you to come here," like, you know. So
no brainer.
It was absolutely brilliant to go there, you know.
Have you seen some of the videos of Peter Reid after games and stuff like that? No. He can lose his shit, can't he?
Peter Reid,
but you were winning all the time, so did you not really see that side of him there?
Seen bits of it at times. Yeah, he would have had a pop at a few people, like, you know. But again, brilliant character, really, like brilliant manager, really, and. Yeah, it was good times.
Have you seen him now? He's all trendy in that with the long sideburns.
Yeah,
and
he looks fit, doesn't he?
Gorgeous,
I wouldn't say gorgeous, like.
Did you play against Kev Kyle?
Kev Kyle, who's that?
Big fan.
What? Yes. Who's that?
Kev Kyle's going to check me out now, isn't he? What?
It's going to be cool.
He played with Sunderland now.
What's his name?
Kevin
Kyle. I don't know. I'm going to kill. We edit this bit, lads. Edit this bit out, right? He's the kids, look at you. You could text him and everything. Like, yeah, this guy hasn't got a clue.
No, wait, I'll show you. I'm see if you remember. I'm sorry, you can go on with the next question.
So see when you went into...
He's not the producer or anything, is he? Just scrap that whole show, would you?
He's a bouncer. He's a bouncer.
I mean, I'll get back to a bit of normality for you. See when you went to Newcastle was Shaka Hislop. How did they feel you coming in as number 1?
Yeah. It was mad, like, because it was obviously Shaka Hislop, Pavel Cernicek, Steve Harper, myself, and I was the youngest of the whole lot of them, you know. So Ken SA obviously signed me, and he gave me the number 1 jersey, you know, and they had the squad numbers at the start of the year, and he gave it to me, the number 1 jersey, and that was just, obviously started the first game of the season. It was just a special thing to put the faith in a 21-year-old to go, you're my man, like go out there and show.
Did he actually come and say that to you? You're my man.
Well, he didn't say it in that many
just
words.
showed you by playing.
Well, he picked me and gave me the number 1 stuff, and having brought you here, like to obviously just gain experience and get there to that level, he gave me the number 1 slot.
Did any of the goalkeepers come out and speak to you at all?
It's a mad one. Like they would have spoke to the goalkeepers. Always get on pretty well, like you know. But I'm sure Shaka and because Steve's only a year older than me, Shaka and Pavel are a bit thinking probably. This guy's, he's coming to take our my spot, like, you know, but I suppose that's any position in any team. You know, there's always someone trying to get your spot, isn't there?
Do goalies ever argue? Because you know, players argue amongst themselves in teams. The goalies.
I've been relatively good in my career, all the people I've worked with, but you hear stories of, I think it was at Almunia and Lehman at Arsenal, they didn't speak at all, you know, so I can imagine that being a really tricky situation because there's 4 or 5 people in a group together in the corner of a pitch somewhere all the time, you know, so.
Goalies are a weird bunch, aren't they?
What are you on about?
Do you remember him?
Oh yeah, I played with him, yeah. Against him, sorry. Didn't play with him.
No, against them.
Yeah, I played against him, yeah. What are you laughing at? Tommy Goyne, are you laughing at me?
Is he decent, Kev?
He's brilliant. Great player. He's like...
Mate, what about the big names again to Ian Rush brings in? Ian Rush and Johnny Barnes.
I've heard the producer say it didn't really work though.
Did it not work out for
really
us,
work that?
What?
Signing Ian Rush and John Barnes at that time.
They were a bit done, weren't they? I think they were coming to the end.
It's coming to the end of the career, but I think probably Kenny signed them for their experience and their know-how and stuff, you know what I mean? Great players in their time, and great lads as well, actually, yeah.
He was trying to sign Roy Evans as well for centre-half, wasn't he?
What were they like
Alan
about the
Hansen.
place? What was Ian Rush and Barnes like about the place in the changing room?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Rushy, well, you've seen his career is absolutely phenomenal, and then John Barnes was just, he's the only player I think I've played with who just always had time in the ball, like he's even at that age, like he was obviously coming to the end of his career, but he had so much time and quality on the ball. Funny thing, John Barnes never warmed up either 4 games, which is strange.
Nah, you went to sit in the dressing room?
Yeah, we'd go in the bath, have a bath. He'd be just chilling in the bath and the ducks and that, we'd be out like sweating and running around the pitch like Egypts. He's got it all right. The first time he touched the ball, the referee blew the whistle. He was, man.
Barnes, just sitting in the bath.
Just sitting chilling with a big Cuban on. We're out trying to get warmed up. But then his first touch would be unbelievable in the game, like, so you just leave him to it. Like.
Oh, what a hero, man. Mate, FA Cup experience, 98, lost to Arsenal 2-0. What do you remember the game?
Just obviously growing up in Ireland as well, so the FA Cup final, it's changed a little bit now, like, but as a kid, like, it used to be the full day thing, and as I just mentioned before, but there are not many TV channels and stuff, but the whole, I think the BBC or whatever it was the whole day, like, leaving the hotel, getting the suit, so there'd be a song.
What was the suit? Sorry, what was the suit? Was it
I can't remember. It wasn't, yeah, it would have been a nice suit, but it wasn't like the Liverpool job, it wasn't too out there, like, you know what I mean? But even getting the suit and, you know, leading up to Wembley Way and all that stuff, you know, the old Wembley obviously now, but
do you know, say you came back to your room before the game and John Barnes was sitting in your bath?
Got a game to go to, lad, come on.
Was that your first time that? Tell me you never had a bath at Wembley.
Big one.
That's unreal, man. Just John Barnes in the bath. Was that your first time at Wembley as well?
I think it was, yeah. I think it was, yeah. Ended up coming back the following year and didn't play, didn't I? We got the final again the next year.
Was it about Arsenal a joke at that time?
Huh?
Was Arsenal a good team at that time?
Yeah, they were, yeah. They were favourites and stuff, but the game, you know, we talk about lucky breaks and different things in the game. We had the post, I think Shearer had the post and Davies had the crossbar or something, you know, at 1-0 or something. And then they never really got rocked, if you know what I mean. If one of them went in, the crowd changed and then nerves, at any final there'd be a bit of nerves involved and stuff, you know, but we never actually got that, you know, bit of luck that we deserved, I think, on the day. And I think Anelka scored a late sort of second and killed it off.
See that season, was that the season Kenny Dalglish left? At the start of that season?
Yes, good questions now.
What was it? Was it
98, 99.
And were you surprised at that when they let him go?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Keegan era was the entertainers, and the fans obviously worshipped Kevin Keegan, and then we talk about Kenny had to make some changes and stuff, and And I think they didn't maybe agree with some of the signings you mentioned with where they were before. And maybe Kenny was trying to be a bit more pragmatic in a sense, trying to be a little bit more defensive minded, not too defensive minded, but a little bit tighter, because remember the Keegan era was like
4-3s,
5-4,
5-4,
4-5 and all that kind of stuff, which at the time was unbelievable to watch. I think Newcastle were everyone's sort of second team. Whoever you supported, they love watching them, but I think Kenny was trying to just tighten it up a bit, but then the fans weren't buying into that. They wanted to see more maybe attacking stuff, and we didn't produce that maybe.
See, just before we got into Hewlett, because this selects Shearer, did Shearer run the dressing room? Was he the main man at it?
Yeah, he would have been, he's the captain. And
what kind of guy is he?
It's mad, because you watch him on TV, and he's quite straight, isn't he? And you think, does he ever have a joke and a laugh? But no, he's in the changing room, he's the opposite,
Is
He's
he right?
always winding people up and messing.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Is he right?
Yeah, he's good guy, actually. I like him. I was up Loch Lomond actually last week playing golf with him, actually, yeah.
Just you and him?
No.
No, it was just Sir Alex.
Yeah, it was a charity thing last week, for a cancer charity. And he asked me up, Al, to be fair, but it was beautiful up there, Loch Lomond. We're going off my career now.
That's all right, mate, don't know, but and then Hewlett comes in.
What was your first impressions of him?
Yeah, I mean, the problem is obviously when someone brings you in, like Kenny brought me in, and then it's like a different manager comes in, so then you're like thinking, you're sort of back to square one, aren't you? All the keepers are clean slate again, so he could come in and pick in whoever he wants, basically, but he talked about sexy football and this and that, yeah.
Maybe careful when you use the words, don't you?
Especially with John Barnes in the back.
You're not wrong.
I can't still think of that.
But no, I mean, I think the thing about Rudy was he was obviously a brilliant player, wasn't he? So then it was like some of the stuff he would ask some players to do, they weren't maybe good enough to do some of the things.
Well,
I don't know, we did a shooting exercise, and he'd we want the ball played into midfield, chest it and zing it out to the left winger or something, and there'd be lads, not to say we had a bad standard, but one or two, maybe the younger players would be shanking it out of play or whatever and blah. And then the pressure adds up. Next one, do another one, and then it's yourself, it adds up, and then Hull would go, give me the ball, chest, and he would zing it out wide, and the lads would be like, all right, yeah, do you know what I mean?
You come and fucking play then.
Not mean enough, you know what I mean? But it was kind of I don't know, not downgrading, but it's kind of just a bit I don't know. There's a balance as a manager, I think, as a coach, trying to get the best out of the players and maybe not. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes great players, and sometimes they think everyone's is going to be as good as them, but you need a bit of coaching, don't you?
Problem in it. Which was well documented. You were saying that Shearer and Hewlett had a bust up.
How quickly could you see that they didn't get on?
Yeah. Well, when you're in the sort of zone or the mix of it all, you're kind of focused on your own job and stuff. When you obviously years gone by and you look back now, I think the biggest thing was when they played Sunderland, and they were a big, massive, as you imagine, derby against Sunderland. I was injured actually that night, and Duncan Ferguson and Alan Shearer both left out of the team. They were on the bench, so they played a young guy Robinson up front, and it was we lost 2-1, I think, and then 8 o'clock on Monday morning, Duncan Ferguson and Alan Shearer both waiting outside the manager's office. I think Alan got there at 8:10 and Duncan was there already. Oh my! They're trying to fight to get into the office. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be there.
Hide behind your desk if you look at a pair of high heels. Hide behind your desk.
Sexy football seemed a long way away at that point, didn't it?
What? But why did he drop? Why was he asking Shearer to change his game? Was he asking Shearer to maybe do something that he wasn't?
I don't know. I don't know if Alan's at a stage where Hull might have thought he should be doing more or running more or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I think it got to a stage because Alan Shearer, you could say whatever you want, the king of Newcastle, he's Newcastle fan, he's record, goal scorer in Premier League, he's a hero up there, And then I think Hull took that on a bit. So it was, I'm the man, I'm the manager, do you know what I mean? So then it was sort of a clash,
You're obsessed with Ferguson, aren't you?
One of your big heroes that showed Duncan Ferguson. What was he like about the place?
Oh, brilliant. Love Duncan. I remember one story, he's back, because I was single at the time. I remember one day back at my house one day, and somebody bought me I think it was a bottle of Dom Perignon from my 21st or something. And the lads all come back, whatever, bit of a party in the house, and all just drinking beers and stuff, right? And they go, hey, can I drink this shit? And he's clocked this bottle of Dom Perignon, I had it stashed in the box and everything.
Your first bottle
and big Duncan beside him just went up and was on leaning to his step ladder again. He just reached up and pulled it down. I said, Duncan, no, I don't want that. No, hey, this is what I drink Fucking Dom DP get up and I was blown devastated. You know what I mean?
Did he do the full bottle?
Yeah, I would have done that.
But you can't say it, you just need to let him drink it.
But the funniest thing with Duncan, he used to do the punch bag in the gym. Oh my God, lads. He used to kill the bunch back.
Annihilator.
You know, like you see somebody do the pads and all that, he
Think
looks
he's
quite
decent.
quick. You know? He was grunting at it and everything. I was like, not want to right hook off Duncan. Like,
What is he like thinking?
Was he a good player as well, Ferguson?
yeah. I mean, when he was on his peak, like he was an absolute brilliant player. The biggest problem he had was his injuries and stuff, trying to keep him fit. You know.
Would he get on boys in training that if you weren't there?
Yeah.
Would he?
Yeah, he wouldn't mess with Duncan. Like, no chance.
Oh, mate, Duncan.
He's a legend. Eh?
But then, for one hero, that Sir Bobby Robson. How special manager was he?
Yeah, he was brilliant. I mean, we had some managers in between and didn't get it right. And then Bobby came back, obviously, because he's from Durham, he's from the Northeast and stuff. And he just got the balance of what the fans wanted. And his personality was so bubbly and lively, you know, and he got the best of everyone. Like, you know, he was just a real character. But a great manager as well. He's managed around the world, Barcelona and different clubs. And, you know, he's a real big personality to get back to the club.
See, like, we talk manager, was he somebody that would be out in the training pitch coaching, that the way he wants his team to play, or was it more man management?
I think a bit of both, actually. I think it's funny, we used to play Champions League games, and the night before, it'd be maybe during the week, you'd leave some of the coaches to do the work. And then night before, you'd play in the Champions League away at, I don't know, San Siro or whatever it was, and all the cameras would be there, and all the, you know what I mean? Bobby like, right, I'm taking this one, right? Balls, and he'd be going like over the top and like all this stuff, like, you know. But the lads would be like, clock the gaffer here, the cameras must be here and all this kind of stuff. But his enthusiasm was unbelievable. He was 70 or something, and he was like,
amazing,
unbelievable enthusiasm for the game.
See, just before he came, what was the story behind you getting dropped? FA Cup final 99, the one that Man U win the treble. Why were you not playing?
Big Man U fan, wasn't I? Nah, it was a mad one because it was actually Terry Ginner was told me I wasn't playing.
So the manager never even told you?
Never even told me. That was the biggest thing that done me in, like, you know.
And how soon did you get told what we talked
Only
about?
like a few days before, yeah. Because I played every game up to the final, you know.
So Terry just goes, "Shake, can I get
He
asked?"
says I need to speak to you. He told me to tell you you're not playing, basically.
How were you then?
I was really gutted, obviously, because I played really well in the semi-final and like thought I deserved. You know, played all the games up to that, you know. But I think I didn't play the week before in the league or something or whatever it was, and then obviously he had to make a decision, and he picked Harper, you know. And he said the reason I wasn't playing is because my kicking was poor or something like that, you know. So, but he didn't actually tell me himself. That was like, at least you think it deserved the manager.
Somebody like Rutul would be able to pull you and
Do you know
tell
what
you
I
that
mean?
you're not
Yeah,
playing.
so I was gutted.
So did you
like,
go and see him after Terry told you?
Yeah, I can't remember now exactly how it went. I don't know if I did or not. I can't remember. But I was raging. I was just raging, basically.
Especially in a game of that magnitude,
You know
isn't
what I mean,
it?
like?
Oh,
No,
that's
so I was-
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I was gutted, man.
And there's also handed in a transfer request. I never knew that.
Doesn't mess about, does he?
No, why is that? Because
think
Harper was playing ahead of
I
you?
think I might have put in two up there at one stage. Newcastle fans
Doesn't fucking
cursing
boot
it
shit,
down now, you
doesn't
know.
he?
What?
Didn't fuck about, do you?
No, but again, it's more like, as I say, going back to when I was a kid, my dad was like, we're leaving home, we're going to make a career out of it. We want to play as many games as we can, and I'm not going to, like, I didn't want to sit on the bench.
It's a great mentality,
I
to
didn't want to
Yeah,
sit
it's
on the bench,
brilliant.
because the way I looked at it was, I've got one life, one career, and I need to play as many games as I can, basically.
I mean, it's because I think too many people are far too happy to just sit as a number 2 or as a number 3. Do you know what I mean? That's the elite mentality, mate,
That
isn't it?
is.
It wasn't for me, to be honest.
And then you reached, so how did that get resolved? How come you ended up staying?
I think Bobby spoke to me and put me back in the team, basically, so I was back playing again. But yeah, I mean, looking back now, and I've coached recently myself, and it's like, I was hot-headed as a player as well, and probably should have had a bit more patience, you know. But I think for a couple of weeks, I'll do for a couple of weeks, but then it was maybe longer than that, and I was losing my head, like, you know. But you know, you see players getting left out all the time now, and it's more a squad game and all that kind of nonsense. But it's just different ways of dressing it up. You're not playing, like, you know. So I just wasn't happy. I just wanted to play, and every time I didn't play, I was like, right, I can't get that game back. Like, I'm fit. I should be playing. In my head, I should. You know, I'm not saying Harper was I was better. I'm just saying in my head I should have been playing. You know what I mean? And I wasn't, and I can't get that game back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's gone.
Yeah. Could Bobby Robson still, even though he was an older guy, could he still dish it out if he's had a bad performance?
Yeah, he used to give it a bit, yeah. I mean, his best, you mentioned about his man-manager skills, was phenomenal. He was absolutely brilliant man-manager, yeah.
And
Absolutely brilliant.
what sort of stuff would he do with that?
Well, like, for the likes of Bellamy and Shearer up front, they didn't really get on that well, like, you know.
Right.
And so you talk about Hull thought Shearer's legs were going, whatever, but he would go up to Shearer and goes, you're our main striker, you're the man, and we'll get the ball, so you get in the box, we'll give you chances, blah, 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 blah. And he said to Bellamy, fuck, I don't mind him, he's getting old, you're doing all his running, you're fucking brilliant, fucking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he would go to Shearer, like, hey, mind him, Bellamy's a mouthpiece, he fuck, just And then, like, on a Saturday, they're brilliant, like, the two of them just come together on a Saturday, both of them brilliant, like, you know, and that again comes back to man management and getting the best of the people, you know?
I did like Bellamy, I thought Bellamy was
I had a lot of time for Craig as well, like,
can he get angry at her?
Yeah. He's very opinionated, like, and he never could change that, like, you know. And as a coach, as a manager, sometimes just shut up, like. But at the same time, he wants the best out of people, and people might not think that. Like, he was always last in the gym. He was so professional and stuff, and he was really dedicated. Like.
Would you argue with outfield players?
Yeah, always.
Who were the main ones that you would have a go at each other?
Most of them, really. And
Centre-halves?
yeah, anyone really has a pop. Like, I normally have a pop back, and maybe it's just again the stubbornness in my head. Like, I would. Fucking you watch your own, you do your own fucking thing and I'll fucking watch my kitchen type thing, you know what I mean? But I mean, at times as well, I don't overly agree, like, you know, if a keeper chucks one in, like, which I have done, and then somebody's coming and ranting and raving in your face, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then maybe before they missed a chance or something, and like, I'm going to sprint 70 yards, what the fuck are you doing? Like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, you got to get the balance right, you know?
Champions League 2002, mate.
Champions League? Was that the first time you played in the Champions League?
No, we played the Champions League, when I first went up there, so they finished second in the league, didn't they? The first year I went to 21, so I actually played Barcelona in one of my first games, Barcelona at home, yeah.
Who was the Barca team? Who was like the big players then?
They had Rivaldo and the likes, and I think Figo might have been there, and Van Gaal was the manager, and they had some big personalities, yeah. So basically they rolled into Newcastle thinking we just had to turn up, and we went, Tino Sria got a hat-trick, we were 3-0 up. The atmosphere was like the best atmosphere I ever played in front of.
St James's atmosphere is unbelievable.
But that night especially was just, honestly, I could shout to you and you wouldn't hear what I was saying. It was just, you couldn't describe how amazing it was.
Was the Champions League music that still going nowadays?
Yeah. So we went 3-0 up. They got back to 3-2 and it was twitchy bum from the last 10 minutes, but we managed to. But it was a fantastic result, like, because as I say, we were new to the Champions League and they're obviously been European champions before. They've been Europe Champions League every year, like, you know, great experience and fantastic history at the club, you know, but that was a big result for us.
See, if you were to, can you remember one unbelievable story for Bobby Robson, your favourite story of him?
Bobby Robson story. Probably a few that I can't tell, but one time we got this fart machine, put it under we're away in Europe somewhere, and like you sit in a big room like this, whatever, and the lads put the machine underneath his table, the staff table, like round table, whatever, and we're sitting like dinner like this, right? Press the button like this, and you can see like. You can see Bobby like give it. The first one he was like, you know, he started wondering, did I really hear that right? And then it was like eating all about the food, and it was like, then with a double, like, oh, Jesus Christ, you disgusting bastard! Who was that? Like, and the lads, like, you can imagine what the whole team was like, because everyone else was on it apart from him, and even the staff, the other staff members, and they were all trying to go like, and he lost his shit, but then he had a laugh about it when he found out like the whole thing, but. There's loads of stuff, like he was funny, Bobby, like some of the stuff he came out with.
I don't know why I'm picturing John Barnes starting in the bath.
Can you get John Barnes out of your head in the bath? I wish I hadn't have told you that, now. You're obsessed with John Barnes in the bath. Just leave it.
Sorry, mate. Peter Reid and John Barnes, love them. Mate, you forget how good that Newcastle team was. Top of the league by Christmas of 2001, 2002. Did you think you were good enough to win it that year?
I suppose like anything, you're up there and you're challenging. Like, you know, we thought we could stay up there as long as we could. I mean, we had some good players. We had some good, you know, we had a good.
Who were the top players? Obviously Bellamy, Shearer, who else?
Yeah, with Dyer, Gary Speed.
It's Gary Speed the hero. I used to do one of your best pals.
Yeah, one of my best friends. Yeah.
What was so? Everyone says he was just such a nice guy.
It's mad because we played Everton a few seasons before, and he was Everton captain, and he's coming out the tunnel at Goodison, and it's like obviously quite tight there as well, and I was just waiting, like go out and fix my clothes. I don't know what I was doing, whatever. He was, oh, Shay, how's it going? You all right? I was like, fucking hell. It's the first time an opposition player ever, like, when I was talking about the crazy gang, let's kill this young keeper. He was like asking me, how you doing? Everything all right? Wow, and I was like, total opposite, like, you know, but I mean, he was a fantastic player as well, you know, but a great personality. I mean, Alan was captain, but Speedo was the vice captain, but he was like a captain himself, you know. He's a great guy, you know.
Would he ever like, could he go through boys though? Like,
oh yeah.
At that side
At
as well?
both sides,
yeah. We played Portsmouth once away, and we were 1-1-0, like, you know, Portsmouth were doing well at the time in the Premier League and all this kind of stuff. And we loaned Lua to them as our player, and the secretary or something didn't do the paperwork properly and meant he could play against us. He scored against us in the last 2 minutes to go or something like. So Swedish came in and chucked the table and started punching walls, and he was going nuts, yeah. It's an absolute joke, and a few more what's the word?
Expletives.
Yeah, you can say that word. It's a big word for you.
I mean, so, see how you says you had that. You mentioned the players' top team. What? Why did you fall short in not winning the league? What did you not have that could go the full way? Squad, maybe size of squad.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. And maybe that experience again. We never won it before. You know, that was the biggest regret, to be honest. With Newcastle, I was there nearly 12 years. We got the semi-finals of Europa League. We got the FA Cup finals. We were on the league close, you know, but we were always just not quite there, you know. And that's the frustrating thing. And talk about the fans of Newcastle. They were absolutely brilliant, the fans of Newcastle, you know, and they're just even still to this day, still crying out for a trophy, you know. And every year you get reminded, like, it's been X amount, and it's another year, and you don't feel like a failure, but you just wish you could just give them something back, you know.
I always think with Newcastle, see, like these Far East Stoners come there, and Man City, obviously Abramovich for us with Chelsea, but Newcastle's
the perfect team to take over.
I know. I mean, it's a great team. I'm surprised it's still not been taken over. I think it was 10 years ago.
Does it hurt you to see that with Newcastle?
Yeah, it does, yeah. I'd love to have seen, like, you know, the takeover with the big money involved recently. They were talking about coming in and really having a go, like, you know, and I don't know the ins and outs of all that went on behind the scenes, like, but I would love to have seen a big owner go in there and really have a go, like, you know, because it's a special city and a special club in the middle of this Newcastle. Like, you walk up from the bars and walk straight to the stadium. You drive across the bridge and the whole thing's in the middle of you can see the stadium in the middle of the city, you know. It's really unique.
How fanatical are the fans? See, when you're in about Newcastle, is it constant?
Yeah, it's mad. Like, I've said this before, but you go drive around and stuff, you see the full family with the kit, like, and I mean the wife, the father, all the kids, like different kits the whole way around. Like, it's, I suppose, like a lot of cities that have one club, you know, they're just fanatical about their club, and it's a working city as well, so they work all week to go and support their team at the weekend, you know, so that gives a bit of pressure to the players too.
See, if you had to pick, and I don't like doing this, but
you're going to do it, aren't you?
If you had to go with two up, Bellamy and Shearer, or Shearer and Sutton.
I'm going Bellamy for the pace.
Aye, Bellamy.
What, today, you mean, or in general, or what are you saying?
Today, right now.
I don't know. I mean, I played more with Craig, if I'm being honest, so I'd have played more with Craig, but obviously Chris Sutton, I mean, the famous SAS year and Sutton up front at Blackburn, they won the league, you know, so it's hard to say that you wouldn't play with them two, but they're different. They're probably similar in the tall men and hold the ball up well, you know, but you're probably right. But Bellamy's pace was electric at times, and I don't know. Could I answer that question?
I think you went Bellamy and Shearer.
Yeah, I probably would say, yeah.
You said you were an early man, also UEFA Cup semi-final, but I remember the game, Drogba was...
Yeah, he was unbelievable, obviously before, I think it was the year before he signed for Chelsea, like, but...
Yeah. They went on to win it that year, didn't they?
Yeah, he was the difference, like,
Drogba was
he was a machine,
sensational.
I mean, he was just so strong, and I mean, obviously the career he's had since that at Chelsea and stuff, you could tell what a brilliant player he was going to be, like, but he just really gave our defenders a tough time. I think Andrew Bryan maybe played against him that night, he was really strong against them, yeah.
See, in Europe, was there any strikers you hated playing against?
I get asked that before, but I don't really hate playing against anyone. I think the bigger the striker, whatever, I don't mean tall-wise, but in stature, like, I don't know, great players I've played against in the past, you know, you feel like, right, tonight you have to really be...
Oh, so you'll lift your game?
Well, not lift it, but you know you're going to get tested type thing, you know, so instead of fearing it, you kind of go the other way, I'm going to show to them, like, that I'm a top keeper or whatever, I'm going to produce some magic tonight. Is there a stat that there's one striker scored more goals than any other striker? Probably is, yeah. They're probably fucking competing over that. Just checking the names on here and fucking hell. Fucking like this.
Did Rooney score the volley against you?
There's two lists.
Did Rooney score the volley against you?
Aye.
But that's unstoppable, mate. There's nothing you can do.
I don't think I've ever made a save in my life before. Every time they show Sky Sports, they only show me hooking the ball in the net. Honestly, got any record. Ronaldo came back last week. Last goal he scored a pass was against me. And then at the weekend, he scored 2 goals, and the whole commentary was about the last time he scored a hat-trick was against Shea Gowan. I was like, I'm sure he scored goals against other goalkeepers too. And I made a save once.
Mate, one place I've made a save is for Ireland. World Cup 2002. How much pride do you look back? Are you the record caps holder?
No, Robbie Keane's the record cap holder. I'm the most capped goalkeeper. Like, but yeah. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, growing up again back in Donegal, we used to be massive Irish fans in the World Cups and the Eurozone. Jack Charlton here, that was a big part of my growing up, you know. And it was just phenomenal. You mentioned diving around like me in the garden. I used to be Packy Bunner in the garden and doing the full commentary and stuff when I was a kid. So then to go full circle, they actually be walking out, you know, on the World Cup stage, and you pick the best goalkeeper in your country and play in front of all them fans around the world, you know, it's very special.
What an experience, huh?
That must be unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pinnacle really. Yeah.
Did your family go?
Yeah, my dad and my couple of brothers. Yeah.
The dad and Kenny Douglas went together. What is a World Cup experience like?
Yeah, it's well, we had the experience obviously beforehand when Roy left the camp and all that nonsense, but I think the whole thing, like, because as I said, because I've gone full circle, fan, then traveling, and then like you get a send off of the fans in Dublin Airport, and like everything's hyped up, you know, and rightly so, because the biggest tournament in world football, and you're going to be part of it, like, you know, so it's hard to even speaking about it, you get the hairs up the back of your neck thinking walking out against, you know, Cameroon the first game, like, and you know the whole country's like there's nobody working. TVs are on, like the pubs are rammed. You can imagine the scenes back in Ireland, because I was there as a kid, like, so I can just sort of focus and remember all that, and then you're the one that's on the pitch, you know, it's special.
What is your memories of Roy Keane and Mick McCarthy bust up?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't nice. I mean, it was a lot of stuff said back and forth. They were shouting at each other and what have you, you know, but it was just a shame, you know, it was just a shame how it panned out. You know, I wish Roy had stayed and played and be part of the whole thing, like, you know, because he's a great player.
Was he brilliant, Roy Keane?
Yeah, brilliant player. I mean, his career, but even on the pitch and his presence, and, you know, even opposition players, you'd see them looking at him and stuff, and he gave us, he was a leader, you know. He would have intimidated the other people, yeah, definitely, yeah. And
was it not something to do with the goal? Was it argument, part of that?
Yeah, he blamed me, I think, in the end, yeah. I got blamed for all sorts, don't I? What?
So what was it, because, was it the goal coach said he's had done enough? Yeah,
well, we went down in our area or something in Saipan. It was like humidity and really hot and stuff. We had done enough supposedly at that point, you know, but I don't know, for whatever reason, like, I know, and Roy will probably tell you better or different, but it just didn't feel like he wanted to be there for whatever reason, you know. So it was just a strange one. They lose him, and Mick, obviously, they were sent home, they fell apart and whatever, and he went home, and obviously you can imagine the world media was all over that, like, you know, he lost the best player, the captain. Yeah. It was big news.
How did you deal with that after he went? Was it just so strange that?
Yeah, it was more of us coming together with it, right, well, he's gone now, we have to get on with it, we have to come together. And for me personally, it was more like, well, as I said, I've grown up watching the World Cups, and now this is my opportunity. It doesn't matter who's leaving or who's coming, I'm going to still try and savour every minute of it. Like.
Were the balls in the pitches that bad, as he explained?
I don't think so. I think the whole Saipan thing was more of a get together, try and unwind after a long hard season, get the lads together, a few beers, bit of training, and then when we went to Japan, that was when the serious stuff happened, you know. But I mean, for me, it'd be no reason to walk away from a World Cup, if I'm being honest. No. Yeah.
But Damien Duff said that the nightlife, he's got a few good nights.
Yes, especially in Saipan. Yeah, it was good crack. I mean, that was a big thing about the Irish setup. It was we had a real togetherness and a team spirit, because. And it wasn't all about alcohol, but it was to get together a few nights out. You would get to know lads more than you would just on the training ground. You know, I think, you know, I obviously played nearly for 20 years for Ireland. So the latter part of my career, like, you would see lads in the train in the morning, you wouldn't see them again the next day, you know, and I didn't know, you know, about their families or their friends or their life. You know, you just kind of, it was one of the things I think that made us a better team, was the togetherness and the team spirit. And, you know, we had that in abundance. Maybe it didn't have the brilliant players, but we had some good players, don't get me wrong, but we didn't have the world beaters.
So what was the famous story with Steve Staunton now, Quinn?
Well, it was...
Damien Duff with him?
Duff would have been there probably, but no, it's funny because I think it was a Saturday night, actually. I remember I think we met up and we were supposed to train on the Sunday. We had the FAI awards on the Sunday night, actually, you know, like the annual awards for the best player of the year and all that stuff. So Steve Staunton, we all went out, I think, on a Saturday. We went back at a semi-reasonable time, but Steve Staunton and Niall Quinn tried to kick on somewhere, and I think, I don't know what time it was, 4 or 5 in the morning, and everything was closed, like. And I think Quinny bet Stan that he would find somewhere open, like, so, I don't know, whatever it was, £100 or €100 or whatever. No, you know, after a few, shit, you're talking shit, no chance, blah, 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 whatever, like. So what Quinny does, right, taxi to the train station, got on the train, I think it was at Kilkenny or Waterford, wherever they went, right? So they served drink on the train, don't they? So he got on the train, drinking on the train, got the return ticket and got back up, drinking on the train. Again. Yeah. And by the time they got back up to Dublin, the pubs were reopened again.
So they kicked on again?
So they turned up at, I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock on the Sunday evening for the thing. And Mick McCarthy was fuming, like, because they literally come and staggered in the door, like, because they had 2 days basically on it, like.
But other people that have been on here have said that would happen quite a lot, but then the players would still turn up.
Now, the funny thing about it, because that night then we had the black tie thing, right? So Mick was, you better fucking sort yourselves out, we can come back up, right? Stan was never to be seen again. Stan was just bed, like, and Quinny literally had a shower, come up, black tuxedo. All right, lads,
Brand new, ready to go.
Yeah.
It was like a magic shower he had.
That's a guy who's been doing that for years.
It's unbelievable.
I don't
Nothing wrong
get
with him.
people that can do that.
What?
I don't know how people can
Oh,
do that,
machine.
mate.
But Richard Dunn's supposedly the best drinker of all time.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah. Used
Was
to.
it?
What, just 5 pints?
We went to America once. Well, when we were kids, actually 19 or 20, I think you'd be 21 when you're drinking, but we had a day out in America, like, and it was like, oh, right, lads, what do you want? A beer, like Miller, Bud, Guinness, Dunny, pint of vodka orange. I was like, what? Pint of vodka orange? And I was like, yeah. I like, I've done the same reaction. A good one, Dunny. Well, what do you want? Fucking pint of vodka and orange. I was like, what? Oh, what was that? He goes, asked for 5 shots of vodka and a dash of orange. I was like, what? And we had like, he was drinking pints for pints all day.
The full day?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, what a hero. It's some of the best days you've had.
He's some man.
With the Irish team.
We had some great cracks, some great stories, and as I say, we were really, really close actually. You know, as friends and family, we felt a bit like family actually. All the lads together. Yeah.
Who were you closest to?
I don't know, probably the longer people you're in the squad with. I suppose it was like obviously Robbie Keane, Duffer, Dunny, Stephen Carr. I don't know, the players who would be there sort of the longest. You know, John O'Shea would have been there a good few years. You build up them sort of relationships, don't you, over the years?
And would it be mostly Dublin that you would go out? Usually Dublin?
Dublin, yeah. Yeah, Dublin mostly. Yeah, we meet up there in Dublin. So.
Would you not get mobbed for fans in that?
Not too bad. You'd normally get like a quiet corner or whatever, or roped off or something, whatever.
I mean, when you look back at that World Cup, how is it a what-if moment as if like, we could have got through against Spain?
Yeah, it definitely was, yeah. I mean, the thing is that we lost in penalties, and that's the disappointing me. I didn't save a penalty, but we missed the first 3 as well, which wouldn't have mattered probably if I saved one. But the biggest disappointment was we actually had a penalty in the game. I know, like, I'm leaning Ian Hart out to dry a little bit, but Harty was probably one of the best ball strikers of football you could ever see. Like, and for whatever reason, like if he whips it with his left foot, there's no goalkeeper in the world saving it. And for whatever reason, he changed his mind, run up the ball, and that's the pressure, you know, because obviously you're playing the World Cup final. The eyes of the world are on you, you know, and for whatever reason, he changed his mind on the run-up and he went to Casillas' right. Casillas went to the right and saved it. Like, it wasn't a brilliant penalty, and that was in the game, you know. We got another penalty and Robbie Keane took it and scored, you know. And then, to be fair, I think the last 10 or 15, they were semi-hanging on. And people
I remember that.
People would look back and go, Spain weren't hanging on. I'm telling you, they were hanging on. I think they made it, the man got injured towards the end as well, so they were playing with 10 men, and they were playing for penalties at that point, you know. But had we scored, obviously, we would have seen the game out, you know, the second penalty, or the first penalty in the game, you know. But
what did Mick say to you after it?
no, not much you can say.
Nah.
No.
Quiet dressing room,
For me personally, it was just, as I say, not saving a penalty, because looking back, you know, you remember Packy making that famous penalty save against Romania all them years ago, and yeah, he's a hero for that, you know, and it was my sort of...
Your moment.
My moment, I didn't save one, you know, so that was a frustrating thing for me.
See, we're talking about Ireland team spirit days out. Was it similar at Newcastle?
Yeah.
Who was good for a night out?
Yeah,
Newcastle that day?
Steve Watson was the first sort of character that took me under his wing. It was mad because first weekend in Newcastle was Saturday, I think, played a game or whatever. So we're out Saturday, used to all go out together as a team. It was back in the day when all the teams used to go out together and have a bit of crack. And then the Sunday was like an all-day session. I was like, Jesus, thank God it's Monday. He goes, Monday? He said, Monday, student night. It's the busiest night of the week. He wasn't even joking. He queued around the block to get in. I was like, oh, this city's going to kill me. Like.
That's brilliant. So he done Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
Aye, that was the first weekend in Newcastle. Only lasted 12 years like that.
Oh, what a hero, man. The nightlife, have you been in Newcastle?
Mate, brilliant.
Tucked.
Yeah, it's a good place.
The
Mate,
nightlife.
the good thing about Newcastle, they just enjoy themselves. Like, they love a night out and they love the crack. And I think they're a bit like Irish people, actually. There are no hairs or graces about them. They enjoy a night out, you know.
Who were the main culprits over the years?
Culprits.
There's what Clive, it's Clive,
yeah.
They like it.
Patrick liked the night out, yeah.
Did Bellamy love it?
Bellamy liked the night out. Kieran Dyer.
Yeah.
Titus Bramble. Yeah, there's a few of them. Like, I mean, they were probably young at that stage, you know what I mean? So I think the game has moved on and changed a lot. So now, like you say, well, you don't see, but the professional and stuff and the way that they're like monitored and stuff. You know, we didn't even have the sports science back then, you know what I mean? So it was like, but again, the team spirit was good. The team spirit was good.
Was Shearer ever got?
Yeah, he would do, yeah. So later on, we used to go out in couples in, and Shearer and Speedo and Warren Barton, Rob Lee, you know, stuff like that. So we would go
It's
out.
a bit more boring for that, the couples, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I get up too much, can't you know?
When's this going out?
Was Clive a hero, or was he a bit arrogant? Touch could be quite
No,
arrogant,
he wasn't. He was a really good guy. Like, you know, I think it's got to be, it was again towards the end of his career, do you know what I mean? Like, but sometimes he'd do finishing sessions, he'd be unbelievable, like, you know, but then sometimes in a game he would, you know, didn't have maybe the legs and stuff, you know what I mean, that he was a great player in his time.
How did the boys react to when Bobby Robson got sacked and Souness replaced him?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it was a strange one because I think we just missed out in the Champions League, so I think we finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then it was 5th, I think it was, and then he got sacked on the back of that, you know, so you think of Newcastle now, would they take that, like finishing 5th even, they'd be buzzing with that, you know what I mean? But I don't know, there was different fractions in the media and different players maybe speaking to different people, but they were saying he maybe lost to change them and lost discipline and different things, you know, but I think that was Bobby's way of dealing with certain players, maybe like Bellamy or Kieran Dyer and different things, you know, and then Souness was brought on to try and get people back in line, you know, but...
And did he straight away, Souness? Did he nail it?
He did. He tried to get people in line. I mean, Bellamy's probably the example you might have read about or seen about it, that I think Souness offered him out and stuff, you know, one of the meetings and stuff. Yeah.
Did he? How did that come about?
I don't know, I think they disagree with something and don't you start with me, and it was sort of, he's going to pull him up out of the chair, basically, you know, but I mean, the two of them can give as probably good as they can get, you know what I mean, so there was nobody sort of stepping away from it, like.
He is. I do like Souness speaking on the telly. I think he's quite good, but I don't know how players would react to that. They big players.
No, I don't know. I don't know if you can do that. No, I'm not sure.
But again, that's a good few years ago now as well. So many years ago was that? What year is that you're talking about?
I can't remember. But somebody says
you've got it written down.
Somebody also said that...
You can't remember, it's in front of you.
But it was the year that Bobby sacked and Souness came out of it. But somebody else said that Blackburn he would join in as a manager and smash players.
At Blackburn, yeah.
Would he do that at Newcastle?
I don't think he's done that at Newcastle, no.
Oh,
very rarely, I think. Yeah.
Did you go on him?
I got on fine with Graham, yeah, he was alright, yeah. I mean, straight to the point and stuff, you know, but I didn't have any issues.
Was he good?
Him, yeah, I liked him, yeah, he was straight to the point. Again, it was transitioning from Newcastle and different things, you know what I mean? It wasn't an easy spell for him, I don't think.
See that, but like sometimes I feel when I was obviously a reserve player, but you can almost tell, I don't know about this as soon as, but when the players are buying into the manager, you can feel it about the training. Was that similar to Souness at Newcastle? Some players will just sort of trying and training.
I think that you get that with I don't know, I suppose you're actually the top managers, then I think there's probably an element of that in every sort of team or every squad. You know, if you're not playing, or if you're trying, there's always people trying to stick a knife in it and trying to say, fucking, what's he doing here? He's lost the plot, or he's not good enough for this, or what's that session all about? Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. I think you always get that at every club.
Bellamy came up to Celtic when he fell out with Souness, didn't he? That was when he came to Celtic on loan.
On loan?
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Was there any other players that he kind of rubbed up the wrong with?
Or
was it just Bellamy?
I think it might have been Bellamy, maybe Kieran Dyer. I don't want to be speaking out of turn, like, but I think he had a few run-ins with a few of the players, like, you know. But again, so you got Bobby Robson, who's a fantastic man manager, and then you're going from someone who's quite regimental and quite, you know what I mean? So it's kind of maybe opposite ends of the scale there, really, wasn't it?
I don't want to keep on asking about people fighting, but can you remember Dyer and Bowyer's fight?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
That was a strange
one. It wasn't in your half, was it? It was in the opposite half of the pitch?
More or less the middle of the pitch, I think. Near enough middle of the pitch.
So could you see it?
Yeah, it just was weird, like, you know.
Did they not get on in training or that way? Or was it just a heated moment?
I think it was a heated moment, and basically because one didn't pass the other. I can't remember which way it was. Boyer didn't pass to Dyer, or Dyer didn't pass to, and they said, behind the ball, fuck you. And then the next thing they were pulling out of each other on the pitch. Like, it was just like, it was a bit surreal, the moment. Like, even looking back, I think that wouldn't happen. I don't think that would happen now, would you? You know what I mean? In the modern day game, it was like just mental. I remember Boyer's jersey was down there somewhere, and I got ripped off him, and I think Gareth Barry split them up from Aston Villa, and it was like both two red cards. Like
so it was.
Do you remember the next day, but as soon as we were there? Out now.
Press conference.
Was it the training ground?
Yeah, outside the front door.
I think that was right. Just date behind closed doors, sort it out. Was it no, they shook hands or something?
They shook hands outside the training ground, yeah. But
I don't know, you deal with it.
Yeah, you can imagine what the media and the fans were going nuts at the time, you know, so trying to show, it was just like it was dealt with, or whatever you want to say, like, you know.
What would you do if you were I was playing right back from Newcastle and you're like, get in, and I went, fuck off. What would you do? If I told you to fuck off?
On the pitch?
Would you react to that badly?
Yeah, not badly. I'd probably, have a go back. Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
Try it.
No, but to be honest, I'd be organising all the time. I'm quite loud, and some people say, "Fuck whatever, here, fucking shut up behind me." Like,
you need that, mate, as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I know. And because I was at Derby there coaching for 3 years, and sometimes like you think, lads, just speak, just talk.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, it's not difficult. Like, you're actually helping your mates out, like, you know. So if I want you to come in, you fucking come in, right? Do you know what I mean?
Who was the usual two that you'd play? Who would you play most when you're the two centre halves in front of you at Newcastle?
Steve Howe would have played a lot. Darren Peacock in the early years.
Peacock.
Remember him?
Philip Albert.
Oh, with the porno tash.
He's Belgian.
Remember he chipped Michael?
Yeah, the 5-0.
Did he?
Do you remember
Philippe
that?
Albert.
Probably did, but...
I think.
Who's your favourite
There you go.
to play in front, behind?
Probably Jonathan Woodgate.
Oh, caviar.
Woodgate was good, man.
Brilliant.
What a player.
The only problem he had was injuries, but he was an absolutely brilliant player. He moved to Real Madrid from Newcastle, didn't he?
Do you still speak to him?
Yeah, still
Did he
touch
tell you
him,
any stories about Real Madrid?
I just remember he got injured when he first went there, didn't he? He made his debut, he scored an OG, had an
that's
absolute
right.
wildebeest, didn't he? He had a nightmare.
And then, mate, another
Mike
big name,
Owen.
Michael Owen. You must have been
Michael Owen,
buzzing when you
yeah.
had Michael Owen was coming
Yeah, it
out.
was big news, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was at Real Madrid, we signed him from Real Madrid. It was like a massive signing for the club. Like, again, we just felt he was going to bring us goals, and, you know, I think it was 30, 20,000 turned up just for the signing and stuff, you know. It was
massive at
mad,
that time,
one.
wasn't
Yeah. What was he like as a guy? Did he not get a helicopter to training?
Yeah, one story he got a helicopter. Bobby Robson was the manager. Was it Bobby Robson? Maybe Graves.
No, I think Souness brought him in,
Souness was the manager. And I think he said we played, I think it was Blackburn, I can't remember on the Boxing Day. He says, and obviously normally come in like an hour and a half before training, you know, to pre-activate. He says, because it's Christmas Day, I just want you to turn up, be there for 3 o'clock on the pitch, like, don't be late. But you don't have to be in like an hour before, whatever, just make sure you're there.
Yeah, right.
So we're walking onto the pitch like, it was like 10 to 3, 5. Owen's not in, is he? So next thing, 4 minutes to 3, all yours. Like a helicopter coming over the trees, like whatever it was, like getting closer. Landed on the pitch next to the training, like a minute to 3, right? Steps out of the tree, steps out with full kit on.
In the boots
On, everything. Happy Christmas, lads.
Swear to God.
And did the helicopter just sit or did it fly
No, he
away?
took away, then again off he went, like. We were getting the bus into Blackburn.
Players,
Brilliant, but
were players laughing at that or were they raging?
well, the thing
I'd be
is,
buzzing after that before.
What?
I would be buzzing, I'd love that.
remember what was that show? I was going to say that show. It was the footballers. Remember that show? Yes.
Football's wives.
It was like really corny and stuff. Like that wouldn't happen in the Premier League club. Like, couldn't happen.
What did Souness say when he turned up in the
I don't
helicopter?
think he could say anything because he spoke there on the day before
Yeah, with the rules.
and he said that's the rules. Like, just make sure like you're on the pitch. I don't care. Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant, that. Was he quite flashy or like did he...
No, he wasn't really. He was actually just because he spent the morning. His family live in Chester, I think, and he
Right.
spent the morning with the family and stuff, and obviously left it to the last minute to come up to Newcastle. Like.
Have you seen his stables in it?
He's into his horses, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he loves the horses.
Did you ever get up to his stables?
Yeah, I've been up there. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah,
Is it?
big setup. He's mad into the horses. Yeah.
Yeah.
See when
Used to have the racing post under his arm every day.
Did he?
Yeah, standard. Yeah.
And would he win a few quid, huh?
I think
He's a good gambler because he puts his tips up for Cheltenham and that. They're
Does he,
always
yeah?
quite good,
I said to him one day, see all the time you've been betting, like, did you think, like, seriously? Because I don't bet, like. So do you think, like, you're up or do you think you're down? He goes, oh, miles down. Seriously? I'm like, what are you betting for then? But, like, do you know what I mean? You think, because they always say, I got a good winner yesterday and we got there. I was like, he must be doing all right, like. And I asked him the question, like, oh, miles down.
But
When
you
he's
make a
talking
fortune off
when he's
the
talking
horses.
miles, he's talking miles. You know what I mean?
Mate, see, I can remember, somebody in my mind's not the best, but I can remember that Shearer was he quite
It was
critical?
last year or something, wasn't he? He came out and slowed on, didn't he?
Yeah.
What do you make it on?
So I left, I think, in the January to go to Man City, and so Shearer became the manager, I think maybe, don't quote me here, but maybe February, March time. And obviously I was gone at that stage, but I think that the fallout came towards the last couple of games, because obviously Newcastle were fighting relegation to stay up. And I think Alan had an issue, because I think the physio said he was fit. Michael says he wasn't fit, and obviously Alan's the manager, he's in the middle. Like, so he felt that Michael could have played, even if he was carrying something. And I think Michael's contract might have been up that summer as well. So Alan was kind of thinking, I think he's just protecting himself and not, do you know what I mean? So they had a bit of a fallout. I think that was the main thing, I think.
Yeah. And then your favourite manager of all time comes in,
Big
Sam
Sam.
Allen, Big Sam.
We found love in a hopeless place. Remember that dancing? He's dancing at the wedding video with the bottle of wine.
That was brilliant. You said he used to do that in the dressing room.
Yeah, he was
John Barnes is
he
here
was
and all.
funny, Sam. I mean, he wasn't there long, was he? Only there, was it 6 to 8 months or something?
What is he like, Sam Allen, like, in terms of...
He came in with a load of staff, actually. I do remember,
Yeah.
like, because we talk about sports science and all that. He was one of the first managers, and you think, oh, you're about old school, Big Sam, this and Big Sam. But he actually came in with, like, extra physios, masseurs, all these different people, sports science. He was really trying to, you know, everyone has it now at their club, like, so you could say he was ahead of the game, you know what I mean?
Wow.
But, what are you laughing at? What,
Big Sam the
trendsetter?
You just imagine him getting a chippy ordered into the training every day.
I remember walking off at Goodison Park one like the bus, because the fans are quite, you know, the Scousers can be quite humorous, right?
Yeah.
Sam gets off first, like he's had quite a big head, like. hey, fucking hell, Sam. Some head you got on your shoulders there, lad. And we're like walking behind him, like thinking, oh, you can't say that's the gaffer, like, you know what I mean?
That's unreal, man. What did Sam say?
Just,
Get us a chip in.
yeah. Raging. I think it was Mike. So Mike asked him in, didn't he? And then he sacked him, didn't he? He was only in charge not that long, you know. But
Is that true? He puts heart rate monitors on the boys, and if you didn't run a certain distance training, you're out again in the afternoon.
I'm not sure. As I say, I can't really remember back that, but he was mad into the sports science, and he had a lot of staff around him, and people said, "Boys, you need all these staff for." But now every club sort of has that amount of staff, you know. So you got to give him credit for that.
One of the most baffling appointments I've ever seen in world football. I remember sitting, and it comes across about Joe Kinnear appointed as the Newcastle man.
But Keegan was there as well, wasn't he?
I think Keegan was there first.
Yeah, Joe Kinnear came in after. Was it Keegan? Was it? There's a lot of managers in Newcastle in my time, lads.
Yeah.
How was that?
I think I was the common denominator. Can't even say it. Common denominator.
How was that? How were they two, mate?
Kinnear must have been old school.
Kinnear, obviously, I felt for him because he was out of the game, I think, for 10 years or something, right? So we were, I think it was John Carver made this announcement, got the sheet out like this. Right, lads. All the players and staff and all in the room. Like, imagine we're all waiting, who's it going to be now? Like? We just lost Kevin Keegan and, like, obviously we hauled it before that. And right, lads, it's got a club statement here from up above. Kept a straight face, like, and the new manager's going to be Joe Kinnear. And, like, let's just, like, definitely silence. Like, I think it was Steve Harper says, you mean it's a fucking joke in here?
It's a joke.
That's the big good Steve Harper. Can I give Steve Harper?
What a shot. A shot is in that.
That was the shout, like, if it's a joke in here. Are you serious? No, it's a joke in here. No way. And it was like, and I speak bad about Joe Kinnear, but he was out of the game for so long.
Yeah, it was just such a shock.
And then it was just like so random out of the blue, like, you know.
How was it?
Yeah, it was different, like. He's gone and he's gone.
Did he dance to that?
Oh, lads.
Oh,
I think
man.
David Duffy I think he said the words were old school, innit?
Yeah, he liked the swear word, I think. I mean, I swear as well, so I can't really say that's bad, but some of these team meetings were eventful.
Was this, what?
No, just.
Oh, because he got in Zogby's name wrong, didn't he, in an interview?
Insomnia or something they called him. I think somebody
That's
counted his swear words once. It was like 52 swear words in one team meeting or something. Something random like that.
Was all this building up for you, though? See, when you eventually come to leave, you thinking, like,
yeah,
what's happening in the
yeah,
club?
I mean, the Mike Ashley thing, obviously Freddie Shepherd and Douglas Hall, they were Newcastle through and through, like, and they pushed the boat out. And yeah, they maybe got some debt to the club, but they had money to back it and whatever, you know what I mean? And they're really ambitious and they wanted. I mean, Alan Shearer's record, so you talk about Michael Owen coming in, all these players like were to try and challenge the top clubs, and then obviously Mike Ashley come in, and it was more like a business to him, and it was more just sort of, and it's not changed really since, to be honest. It's more about staying in the Premier League, not really ambitious to win anything, not want to challenge at the top of the league, and that's we talk about the fans. Like, so frustrating for the Newcastle fans, and you feel sorry for them. Like Alan Shearer mentioned the other day, he made match of the day. It's copy and paste every year. It's just like there's no ambition at the club. So that's the sad thing about it, really.
Yeah. And then Man City, mate. When who was the manager then?
Mark Hughes was the manager.
Did he speak to you?
Yeah, I spoke. I think it was an agent or my solicitor at the time spoke to the club and knew there was interest, like, and again it was coming down to the transfer deadline on January 31st or whatever it was, or maybe even the 1st of February. It was extended about a day or something, but. Like Newcastle and were holding out for whatever X amount of money, and the frustrating thing for me from the Newcastle point of view was again back to the Mike Ashley thing. I only met him I think once, and it was that week before I left, and he was like, "We're going to give you a new contract. Want you to stay." I says, "Okay, what's the offer?" I said, "Actually, I don't want to speak about it." My solicitor was in. I says, "Michael, you speak to him. I don't really like talking about money in front of people and all that." So I went out to the car, and Michael was like about 30 seconds after me. He goes, "You'll not be staying there." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, they basically just extend. They wanted to extend your contract, but didn't want to give you any more money. Basically. And that sounds like when Newcastle fan watching, "Oh, he's just a greedy, whatever, blah blah." But you'd like to think you'd be, because there were loads of players at the club who were on a lot more money than me at the time, and I was there like nearly 12 years, and you would think you'd be
rewarded.
Doesn't have to be loads rewarded, but at least get a bit of a lift up, like,
keep you, make a statement.
But I think it was a game by him, and then they'll come down to the transfer deadline day. It was like, "Well, you're not leaving unless you ask for a transfer request." And the thing is, there was a 10% sell-on fee for me. I think it was like 7 million or something went in. So I was like, had he signed this document? They say I was waiving like 700 grand, whatever.
Oh, so you sacrificed 700 grand to go to Man City?
Yeah.
Wow.
But like he had a gun to me. But then the media the next day was like, given us for a transfer request. There's nothing we could do to keep him. But that was purely a financial thing for him. But he saved the money, like, you know.
I wanted to
And
ask,
that was frustrating how way to leave the club because he was there so long, you know what I mean? I
done
was
at the club.
quite angry about it.
You
like,
should have left on good terms.
Yeah, just to thank them and all that. And it wasn't a nice way to leave, you know, but.
I wanted to ask you, see when you first signed for Man City, could you see them being where they are now when you first signed? Did they plan that? Did they put that to you, that this is where we're going to be in, say, 10 years' time?
Well, yeah, they did say that this is our ambition. And the thing is, you know, you're always a bit, not sceptical, but loads of other owners in the past have said that. And then, you know, they've gone, was it Hicks and Gillette at Liverpool?
Yeah.
Do this, and then they've gone a few years, you know what I mean? So, but what you have to give Sheikh Mansour and Khaldun, especially because, you know, Khaldun's the chairman, and he was one of the first guys I met, and he was like, you know, I really got involved. I wanted you to come to this club, really want to grow the club, and we want to be challenging for the Premier League and European Cup. We want everything, like, you know.
Did you go to their house, sorry?
No, it was just at the club, you know.
Did you ever get a chance to go there now?
Nah, I don't think I was. I've been to Abu Dhabi for a couple of club sort of things, but I'm not been to Palace or anything like that, like, you know. But, and the good thing about the Man City thing is they've stuck by their word.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Look at them now. Look where they've come from. Look what they've done to the city of Manchester. The training, I don't know if you've been, but the training ground and the stadium and the whole, the infrastructure is unbelievable. Like, so you have to give them great credit for by actually saying it from day one, but actually going through it. Like,
I mean, you've obviously showed great loyalty in your whole career, but do you think at the stage in your career it was probably maybe your last chance to go and win something when you went to Man City?
Yeah. I mean, again, go back to Newcastle. So Newcastle were selling the best players. I think it's the old Milner just before and all the other players, and they're bringing in free transfers, and there was literally zero ambition for the club to go and challenge again. And then the likes of Man City, who the previous one to just sign Robinho, they want to sign you. Do you know what I mean? They're the club that's wanting to challenge the top boys, you know, and to be part of that was, they could have signed any goalkeeper in the world, let's be honest. They could have went and got anybody.
Did you get a bit of backlash from Newcastle fans?
Yeah, a little bit. I think a lot of them are supportive and understanding, but you still get a percentage of ones who would like be not happy with you, you know, and that's because they've got the best interest of that club with that. Really.
And you do feel for them because
they're amazing. The fans are amazing.
So much
They actually Newcastle fans kind of remind me of like your Celtic and Rangers. That don't know,
working class types.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That season, Newcastle get relegated.
Yeah.
Was that hard to watch it?
It was, and then some fans blame me for that as well. You know what I mean?
Are you thinking that the whole time I'm going to get blamed for this while it's happening?
Well, not really as such, but it's like, you know, people say, oh, you've been there for the last couple of years, they've been struggling, and you've stayed and you've stayed and you've stayed, and the club's not showing any ambition to strengthen and stuff, you know what I mean? And you can't take everything, you know, you got to go with how you feel, and as I say, it was a great opportunity to go to a club with that ambition, really.
What was this?
But I didn't want you guys to get relegated, of course.
No,
I didn't.
of course
It was gutting, like, yeah.
Was it a step up in standard in terms of training and...
Yeah, I mean, there was a real buzz about Man City at the time. There was a talk of everyone was talking about them, not just in this country, but around the world, like, because they were, as I say, Robinho just joined, and in every window they were linked with all these brilliant players, you know, and signing the likes of, I don't know, Adebayor, Patrick Vieira, all these players were coming in. And
who stood out straight away when you first went into train?
Who was there? Vinny Company was there, obviously Vincent Company, Nigel de Jong, I mean, the likes of Wayne Briggs, Sean Wright Phillips.
Yeah.
Some big players there already, like, you know.
Company's a monster, isn't he?
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, great guy, yeah, and I think he was only young, maybe he might have been like 22, but he was like a real leader even then, like, you know, and he's a good guy. I like him a lot.
He's got Sam Allardyce's head, Tony. That's what
he's massive,
yeah,
innit?
massive, yeah.
Who else was in that Man City team?
Was Elano there?
Elano was there, yeah.
Oh, mate, I loved Elano.
The year before he scored, I don't know if you remember, but he scored an absolute screamer. Against me. It was at Newcastle. It was keeper side as well. That's just, people look at it, goes, keeper side, man. I was like, have you fucking seen it? Went about 100 mile an hour, and I was like, went about 7 different directions, and in the last second, ended up right in the top bin, like. It was like, well, you know, and again, like, Sky Sports thought they'd use it for the next advert, for the next Premier League season.
That's how I remember it.
Me waving at my family in the crowd, like. I must have made one save last year too. They could have used that.
Who is it at Sky Sport has got the interview? It's John Barnes, isn't it?
I don't know, it must be.
Barnsley's picking there.
Barnsley and Rushy behind the Dr. Evil.
Alright, we need to know about Robinho.
Aye, Robinho. What was he like on and off the pitch?
It was mad, like, because obviously you come from Real Madrid, you spent record fee, 30-something million for him, whatever it was, you know, and he was really skillful. I mean, I just wish we could have got a bit more out of him, like, you know. I felt like he was a bit, I don't know, maybe it's just a Brazilian way, but a wee bit too laid back, if you know what I mean. Not too laid back, but just a bit like, he had so much skills and ability and stuff, you know. At games he would turn it on sometimes, and in other games he wouldn't.
Go missing a wee bit.
A little bit go missing. Yeah. And you think, we know you're a brilliant player, like, you just got to get more involved, you know, but No, he was.
Do you like the nightlife?
Yeah, I think there was a Brazilian. There was Joe, the striker. Remember him?
Yeah,
Elano.
I like Joe by the way. Left
Elano.
footer.
Obviously Robinho. So there was a bit of a Brazilian contingent, and they.
You went and got. You went and got a Brazilian because.
We should have done it. I'm dried up now. You want to see me jeans are all dry now.
Would you sit and speak to him now? Would you not be the type you could sit and speak to? Do you speak English now?
His English wasn't great now. Probably said the same about me. Like, but.
That must be tough for Mark Hughes trying to manage and translate.
Yeah. But he had a translator and stuff like, and he did learn it. To be fair, it wasn't that.
Was
bad.
he always there? Did he always turn up?
Yeah, he was always there. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Any funny guys at Man City? Nah. See, when you get to that level, I can imagine everyone was just quite professional at it.
Not really. No, I think we had a good group. I mean, like Tevez came and stuff.
Wow.
You know, there was some
was he
big
like? Was
player.
he
David Silva was there.
Oh, was he the best?
Silva was good. Yeah.
Some people say, I've seen somebody say that Tevez just doesn't try a leg in training, but when it comes to games,
It
he's
was funny
brilliant.
in training. Like it was just like doing a shooting session, kicking over the bar and just walking back and stuff. And you see, I think it was Mancini at the time. He was going, what cats, like all this Italian stuff. Like, but then in the match day, man, he was just phenomenal. Literally saved all his energies for the games, like, and he was brilliant.
He must be some player though if you can just
turn it on.
Yeah,
Don't
he
need
was
to try
class.
and train.
Who was the best player you played at Man City?
Played
with?
I mean, at the first one, the Stephen Ireland was man of the match.
I went to Stephen Ireland.
You talk about Robinho, it was like man of the match today. That they had is Stephen Ireland. He was like just standing every week kind of thing.
Just
like,
press play, Stephen Ireland.
But he was good. Like I mean, Sean Wright Phillips was good at the time.
He's brilliant. Sean
But
Wright Phillips.
Tevez was different levels. I felt he was top player.
Was
Obviously,
Ireland?
Silva was just magical. Like.
Was Ireland funny? Because he's done a few like mad stuff.
Remember he's
hasn't he?
big Jeep or something, had a pink
Jeep.
Range Rover?
Yeah. He got some random cars like
Was he a bit crazy or?
pink wheels and stuff and pink steering wheels and all that. Yeah, he's a bit out there to be fair, but he's a good lad.
Will we talk about it?
I hate bringing this up.
I know.
I think you could start
That's
time.
my taxis outside, yeah.
This is I hate this, yeah. Thierry Henry.
The handball.
You know. We're in London as well, he could be fucking...
Would you seen him? Would you say something?
Yeah. No, better not say that.
Was that the angriest you've been on a football pitch?
Yeah, I mean, if you look back at the pictures and like it was just it just felt like an injustice. It was just like, I was like obviously that close to it. I was one of the closest to it and it was so blatant. I was just like, oh yeah, it's fucking handball, it's a yellow card because it's so blatant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I looked around and the refs pointed to the centre circle and the linesman's running away, like for a goal. What's he going to? Thought he'd be like flagging because he stopped with his arm and then he pulled it in with his hand as well. It was like a double handball, like, you know. Couldn't believe it, like. As fast as I ever moved on a football pitch was after the referee. I swear to God, it's unbelievable.
Man, I remember that was horrible, wasn't it?
And we thought then there was going to be like maybe a replay or something. There was like a lot of people. It wasn't, to be fair, it was big news around the world. It wasn't just like in Ireland and France.
It was everywhere.
It was big news everywhere, like, you know. And
Seen the changing room, what was it like?
it was just,
Was a lot of arguing or was there more quietness? And
it was a little bit like,
Really
I think it was more quietness and but shock really, or what had just happened. You know, we probably played the best we've nearly played in Irish shirt, the whole team that night. And we felt like because the first night in Dublin when they beat us 1-0, we thought we didn't do ourselves justice. And then the next game we thought we're just going to go for it, like, and we did. And we felt like that we just got robbed, you know, then.
seeing that instance, what do you think should happen? So obviously
VAR is different now, so VAR would pick that up now.
See before then, should have done a replay?
Looking back, I don't know, you probably can't because it's the rules and the laws of football, blah, blah, blah. Referee can make mistakes.
It's horrible to think that a nation's no qualifying because of such a horrendous.
But you think like, even by all the players' reaction, it's just human reaction. The referee
You could tell.
They must be thinking they could even get word to the fourth official, like what's happened there? Can you try and...
Yeah.
Because we were chatting for a long time before there was started over again, you know.
Did them to try to get to on me?
I just remember Dunny sitting next to her at the end of the pitch, that they were sitting down just chatting at the end, and it was just a weird situation.
He was saying him a bit of he was desperate for a vodka.
There's a pint of vodka then. Big Dunny, would you? No, I don't know. It was just a weird one. Like, it was just, it was hard to take after, like, for weeks and months and even years after. You think, because I don't know if you remember, it was South Africa, wasn't it? They fell apart. Remember
So they did. Then
the whole team were arguing, and the fitness coach chucked his whistle over their heads, and they stormed off. It was just like karma. People say karma sometimes in life. It was a little bit of bad karma going there, I think.
Your other major tournament, 2012, Duff said that Trapattoni was a legend.
Yeah. I mean, he's talk about coaching and people in the game. You think Trapattoni he's got to be up there, like, you know.
Yeah.
Aidan
said as well that he would sometimes get a few boys' names wrong.
Yeah. I mean, his English wasn't great, and that's the probably thing I felt from him a little bit, because he's obviously an elderly man as well, so he's kind of like, trying to get his message across, and he would turn into a little bit Italian at times and stuff, you know. And sometimes the press and Ireland sort of gave him a bit of stick about that because his communication wasn't perfect, like, but if you try and speak Italian over in Milan or somewhere,
he'd be struggling.
It'd be difficult, like, you know, but yeah, he was very, very focused on how we should set up as a team and how we should play and stuff, and didn't, again, I suppose, go back to the Italian mentality, didn't think we were maybe too good on the ball to keep it that much, and we'd be more direct and try and be more solid without the ball, you know.
Italians love the old tactics, didn't they?
Yeah, love the 1-0, like.
Yeah. See, that's the summer of 2009. You've said Tevez comes in, Adebayor, Toure, Silvinho, Vieira. Was it set out that you were out to win the Premier League? Was that your aim at the start of that season?
I think when you start to bring that sort of calibre of players in, then you want to be up challenging, yeah. But again, there was no, like, from the top, there was no, like, this is our, you know, it was kind of like, again, building blocks to try and compete, because it doesn't happen overnight. I know that there's a lot of money spent there and then players coming in, but they knew it wasn't going to happen overnight, and there was a lot of patience as well.
Did you have a feeling if results weren't going to go right that Mark Hughes could be sacked?
It was a strange one. I can't remember the game now, but we woke up Saturday morning and it was all over the papers that this is his last game, no matter if they won, lose or draw. And it was like, I don't know, like, obviously someone from the club must have leaked that out or something.
John Barnes on it.
Barnes again in the bath, snorkel on, getting sacked after the game. No, but it was a strange atmosphere that day, because we were preparing for the game, and obviously Mark Hughes thinks he's getting sacked that day. He doesn't know where it's come from, and I think me and it was a Colo Toure mate got took up to the boardroom after the game, says, yeah, he's getting sacked, whatever, like, you know. Yeah.
What was Colo Toure like? You know,
yeah, good guy.
The coach at Celtic.
Yeah.
Have you interviewed him?
He's
He seems like a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, yeah. Turned up at his 30th birthday. We had a birthday party, and I think it was Russell in town in Manchester. And I turned up with like a bottle of champagne, a card, like nobody else turned up with nothing. Oh, I cannot take this, I'm Muslim, I can't take this is against my religion. So fucking, at least I brought something, nobody else. Do you know what I mean? Because you keep it. I was like, fucking hell, come on. You think like you're trying to do something good. I didn't know he was Muslim or whatever. I thought it was like against his religion, but typical Irishman.
Was it harsh, Mark Hughes getting sacked?
Yeah, for me personally, I would have liked him seeing given another season or so. Yeah.
He's a legend, wasn't he?
Sparky, yeah. Aye. No, but I would have liked to seen given some bit more time, like, and he wasn't, of course, and maybe at that stage when he's playing them likes the players, they thought we need to be doing better, maybe.
What is Mark Hughes like? Because, like, walking in, he doesn't seem like he's got much of it. No, he doesn't. He seems like quite dry.
He's quite quiet and.
Yeah.
But no, he can blow his top as well, like, you know. I think he's quite calculated, yeah.
Did you ever get it? Did he ever blow his top at you?
Sure. I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
But he has done with a few of the other players, like, but no, I think he is. I know what you're saying, he's calm, like, but at the same time, I think that's how he likes to manage, if you know what I mean. Like, everyone's different, you know.
Yeah.
He'd be ranting and raving, people turn off as well. Do you know what I mean? It's just I think it's getting the balance right, isn't
it? See, I know this is hard to say, but do you think he could have been a manager that could have went and won a league with it?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean, the Mancini thing came in then, and it was just a bit. Again, going back to, obviously Mark Hughes signed you, and so he sacked it. So then again, as a player now, I'm thinking, what's this guy going to be like, you know?
And what was he like when he first came in with you, especially?
He was all right. I mean, I played well under him, I felt. After one of the games, he says he's one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the world. Like, I was just like, oh, this is positive. Like, this is good news. And then in the summer, he brought Joe Hart back from Birmingham and never kicked the ball again, basically, you know.
What, without any indication?
Yeah, I just gave him a shoulder at Arsenal with about 3 or 4 weeks to go. And he didn't think I was going to be fit enough for the start of the season, and I was fit. And then he didn't like play me in any of the friendlies or nothing. And I think we played Oxford. We had Oxford in the League Cup or something in the early part of the season. And Joe played in that, and he made like 10 outfield changes or something. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, so anyway, he wanted me. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if he felt I was a big personality in the changing room, or if I was. I mean, I've never really been a person to go around bad mouthing managers or coaches or whatever, like, you know. But he just wanted me out the door, like, so I just had to take it on the chin basically and had to go.
What was a young Joe Hart like to work with?
Yeah, he was good, yeah. So when I first went to City, he was there with Kasper Schmeichel's mad now looking at the careers they both had, like, you know. So Kasper was there and Joe Hart, like, you know. So
are they similar ages, Kasper Schmeichel?
I think
Joe's maybe older, is he now?
Very similar, you know. I think they're very similar, yeah. Kasper might be a year younger, but
who at that age? Who was the one that you thought would go on to be?
I didn't really know, to be honest. I mean, Joe obviously was playing before I went in, and then felt a bit bad because I came in and I played straight away the first game. And he was like, what's going on? I said, well, I don't know. You know, they wanted to sign me, so I've come and blah, blah, blah. You know, I think Mark wanted me to sort of obviously play, but then help Joe as well because he was still young, and Kasper was young as well. So, you use an experienced goalkeeper, we bring them two on.
Mancini though. What, in that Euros he was...
Unbelievable. We called it though, didn't we? We thought fair and early, Italy will be very close because you look at, he probably was the best manager in the tournament. Do you think so, experience-wise? And what he's done maybe
I don't have
UK?
a lot of time for him, so I just think...
Why, just because you never gave you that respect?
No, not pure for me, because just there was no reason about me, but then the whole thing at Man City, he fell out with everybody at Man City. Like the kit man, the bus driver, the chefs.
Why, just because he thought they weren't good enough at their jobs?
I don't know why, he just had that sort of... I never really, to this day, I don't understand why he fell out with everybody. And then, I was gone from the club when he got sacked himself, but at the end, I think the players went to the board as this can't continue because he's just...
How's he intense in training and stuff?
I don't know, he just had to argue with everybody. I don't think it was that intense, over the top intense. I just wanted to fight with everybody all the time. And you think like as a team, as a group of people, we're all trying to achieve the same thing. And it felt like he was... Going against everything. And I don't know if that's the way he manages or that's the way he gets the best out of people. I don't know. I just never seen it before.
Was Balotelli there? No.
He was,
What was he like?
Yeah, they had a big scrap one day, didn't they? Him and Mancini on the pitch.
Remember the one who tried to score the back healer?
Oh, that's right.
That was after me, but they had a...
What happened to the one you were at?
Yeah, they had a bit of a scrap on the pitch. They were grabbing each other around the neck and stuff. Had to be separated, didn't they?
What?
Yeah, I don't know. They were shouting back and forth in Italian, so I don't know exactly what Mario said, but...
What was Balotelli like every day in training?
Yeah, he's funny.
Would he do mad stuff?
He's mad, yeah.
What, with fireworks and stuff like that?
Yeah, night out he'd be like bouncing ice cubes off your head and that. They'd be like just like a kid, like he just never grew up type thing.
Was he? Could he have went?
I think so. If he had been more, I suppose, dedicated. Maybe that's what Mancini was trying to get at him, trying to push him a bit more. Like he was a brilliant finisher. Like some of the reminded me a little bit of Alan Shearer the way he struck a ball. It was
really,
like a rocket. Like he could finish. Like, but he just. I think there was more to give, and he maybe just didn't push himself enough. Do you know, that kind of way? Like,
who was he type with Balotelli? Who would he hang about with?
I can't remember now. A few of maybe the foreign lads. I can't actually remember now. Even Mika Richards might have been.
Mika Richards, I think I've heard him speaking at that before.
But no, he was just a daft lad. He was just always messing and carrying on and stuff, and I think the lads knew he had ability, but he just didn't seem to want to push himself, and you can sort of career's gone a wee bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah, that one in pre-season when he tries to
no.
But you're taking him off right away there.
And then he was arguing when he was the manager. You haven't got an argument at that point, have you? Sure.
Did he argue with boys as well, or was it just mainly the manager that used to kind of...
Yeah, more or less the manager, yeah.
So who's your hardest player ever played against?
Hardest player ever played against?
But that's good, no like a striker shooting at you, but just overall what you're playing against, you're like, wow, he's unbelievable.
I mean, Henri back in the day was, he'd done the handball, but back in the day in his prime, he was, it was just like, you knew it was coming and you still could just bend it around you, wouldn't it? But I was looking at to play Messi against Messi and Ronaldo and the likes. I think we'll probably look back in 20 years and look at them two and go, like we look now, but like, we could say Maradona, rest in peace, whatever, but Pele, he's still, but them two look back and go, they were amazing players, weren't they? Still now we're talking about 30 years, 40 years later. I think in 30 years time we'll be talking about Messi and Ronaldo.
100%.
So they share a pitch with them, it was pretty good,
Although it's not happened, they'll still find the goal that Messi scored against you, innit?
Messi didn't score with me, did he?
No, but they'll superimpose
the
somebody's body.
I think he's only keeper he didn't score. That's why he never show a Messi goal, but Ronaldo made up for it.
And then Villa, Borough and Stoke the last few years.
Yeah.
How about those experiences?
Yeah, Villa was a bit disappointing because I went there. No, I took a wage cut again. I want to get away from Man City, not because I didn't like the club, but because the manager didn't want to play me. I wanted to play football. I'd done everything to get out. Took a massive wage cut to go there to play, and then a year later, Paul Lambert came in and said we need to cut the wage bill because they were like Randy Lerner was cutting everything back. But no one told me that the year before. They were told we're still challenging stuff.
Right.
So they wanted me out then. So it was a bit like I was there. I felt I could have played more, but not given the opportunity. They wanted to try and get me out the door type thing, And then the last couple of years obviously was Stoke and on loan Middlesbrough. So it was more like you're going then sort of as backup really as such. And not,
who was your Stoke manager?
Mark Hughes.
Oh, Mark Hughes took you.
Yeah. So I went on loan to Middlesbrough.
Who was that under?
Aitor Karanka was there.
Oh.
Yeah. He was alright actually, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
What a career, mate.
Unbelievable, mate. Jaw drop stuff in it.
That is. Great to hear some of the names.
But the best thing for me, mate, is the type of guy he is.
What a guy, hero.
For being what you've made in the game.
Yeah. That's the thing. I've never changed. I know people say oh, you're doing this and you're doing that and you've done that, but I'm just the same. Even when I play, I still go to the shop and get the dinner for the family, and some people do the meat. Some people don't even open a letter at home. Some players don't.
Still.
Huh?
Still run Barnsley's
bath. He wants 4 ducks in, not 3.
But in Derby as well, we're Rooney. How did that come about?
Yeah.
Did Rooney give you a phone or?
No, it was Frank Lampard brought me into Derby.
Oh, was it Lampard?
Yeah.
How did that come about then?
Yeah,
Did you play with him? Never played with him, did you?
No, just a random phone call, just out of the blue, really. So he wanted me to come and be part of his coaching team and all that. So, yeah, I went to Derby, obviously. I was doing a little bit of media stuff at the time, and I was enjoying that, actually, to be fair. And then I thought, it's an opportunity, like, you know, if maybe Frank one day goes to Chelsea, then I might go there too.
And he patched you.
Didn't bring me. So went well, didn't it?
Was he a good manager, Frank Lampard?
No, I liked him. I liked him. He was a good manager. I mean, the biggest thing I think he done at Derby was that he brought some really good players in, like loan players especially. Like Fika Tamori came in, Mason Mount and Harry Wilson. So them three were probably our three best players that season, you know, and we got to the playoff final and stuff. We just missed out, obviously, to Villa in the final, but we were really close, like, you know. But then now, since that, the club was just, it's a financial thing, but the owner wants out, is well documented, as you can probably say in the press and stuff, but they're a bit on their knees at the minute, like, you know, with embargoes and stuff, you know, it's a bit of a mess at the minute off the pitch.
What's Rooney like as a guy?
Yeah, good, yeah.
So you ever put that goal up against you in a meeting or
when he's first signed, like, they put it on the bleeding social media.
on the Twitter?
Yeah. It's like I made a save once against them too, like, you know what I mean? Again, I just keep in mind that I made a save once, but I never saved in any reel ever. What? Does kids never want to watch keepers make saves, no? Is that not part of the...
They're not part of the game, I know. No. But did Rooney join in training?
Yeah, he's still playing.
Yeah.
He smashed Philip Cockey came in and he was the manager, so Wayne was still playing then. And then obviously he got sacked and then Wayne took over the manager's job, you know, but... Yeah, I mean, he's obviously being a great player, and like, you know, it's just a difficult one now to manage that club in a sense with all the stuff off the pitch at the minute. You know, it's a tough job.
Do you want to stay in coaching?
I don't know. I'd say I left now in the summer. In the last few months, like obviously doing things like this for you guys, media stuff. Spent a lot more time with the family, playing golf. Played Loch Lomond last week. You know, all these different things that I haven't done because I've been busy with football. I'm thinking about going away half term with the family that I haven't done for 30 years. Do you know what I mean? Because it's always football around it, like, you know. So part of me thinks, you know, this is I'm really enjoying this, you know. But then part of me misses the everyday stuff, you know. So it's a difficult balance, you know.
Are you pals with any other celebrities outside football?
Celebrities? Why?
McIlroy. Just what a golfer said.
I played in the McIlroy's the Irish Open about 3 years ago. Actually, it was up in Donegal, where I'm from.
Wow.
Quite a friend with Niall Horan, who's
he's a big Derby fan. That's right.
Yeah, Derby fan. But I played about a month ago. He had a big golf tournament. He owns his own golfing sort of agency now. Yeah.
Slow hands like that.
That's slow. That. Bent hands, but I don't know about slow hands.
Acast powers some of the world's best podcasts. Here's a show we recommend.
Hey everyone, Cameron Abadi here, Deputy Editor at Foreign Policy. So when I think about economics podcasts, the words fun or exciting don't really come to mind. Then I started working with Adam Tooze. Readers of FP know Adam as an economic historian and a popular author. But he's more than that. In some ways, he's an encyclopedia about everything.
How a big multinational like Ford or GM operates has a huge impact on...
By 2018, life expectancy was 78 and a half, where we...
Historically unprecedented increase in poverty.
On each episode of Ones and Twos, Adam Tooze and I will unpack several data points. I'm pretty sure you won't look at the world the same way.
Acast recommends.